Chapter 2947. Qin Yun did not know how the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit contacted him through the Divine King Heavenly Seal, but it was also at that time that he relaxed his vigilance. In order to further connect with the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit and receive more of its soul power. It was at that time that the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit discovered the upper limit of his divine universe power. Great the Divine King's understanding of Qin Yun's strength most likely came from the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit. This was because the great Divine King had been able to contact the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit for a long time. Qin Yun recalled that he had asked the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit if he shared memories with the Nine Suns Evil Spirit. At that time, the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit was very certain that the Nine Suns Evil Spirit would not know what it was thinking. However, this was only what the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit thought. The Nine Suns Evil Spirit might also be able to see through everything about the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit. After all, they were originally one, and now that they were still fused together, they were not completely separated. Just like that, it was as if a person had two consciousnesses and memories. These two consciousnesses were completely interconnected. Nine Suns Dharma Spirit, this idiot! Qin Yun cursed in his heart. He knew that the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit was unreliable. Qin Yun, do you know what I'm doing? Did the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit tell you? The way the great Divine Lord looked at Qin Yun was like a wolf looking at a lamb. In the eyes of the great Divine Lord, Qin Yun was already a piece of meat on the side of his mouth. There was no way he could escape. Qin Yun said with a smile, "Are you very confident? Sometimes, if you talk too much, it's easy to be killed." The great Divine Lord laughed out loud and said, "Are you afraid that I won't be able to kill you? If I really can't kill you, then I can't kill you. You will die sooner or later anyway, so I won't put you in my eyes too much right now. Your temperament has improved a lot. In the past, when you saw me, you wanted to swallow me alive. You became very irritable. Not only has your cultivation improved, your mental state has also improved." Qin Yun said, "Because I want you, a little Divine King, to know how powerful I am. I'll let you understand that a little Divine King like you is just a fart, so I want to tell you how great of a thing I'm currently doing." Great Divine Lord is now even more pleased, as if he was stepping on Qin Yun. Qin Yun looked at the golden vortex that was releasing spatial ripples in the distance. The spatial devouring domain was still expanding. Nine Sun Law Spirit told me that you want to use the Divine King Heavenly Seal to devour the entire sixth Divine Sun. Qin Yun also did not conceal his conversation with Nine Sun Law Spirit. It seems like the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit didn't tell you that it was the one who told me to devour the sixth Divine Sun. The great Divine Lord chuckled and said, "It said that my God King Heavenly Seal has a bloodline heavenly pattern box. As long as I devour the sixth Divine Sun, I will be able to unseal the bloodline heavenly pattern box. At that time, I will be the ruler of this universe." Qin Yun said with a smile, "It was the Nine Yang Dharma Spirit who told me to come here to find you and stop you." The great Divine Lord shook his head and laughed. "No, no, no, the Nine Yang Law Spirit only told you to find me and then contact it. It did not tell you to stop me because your current strength is not enough. Did the Nine Suns Evil Spirit make you devour the sixth Divine Sun?" Qin Yun took a deep breath. "There is no such thing as a Nine Yang Evil Spirit. There is only a Nine Yang Dharma Spirit. It's just that the Nine Yang Dharma Spirit can make two decisions and then let these two decisions fight against each other. In other words, it wants me to devour the sixth Divine Sun to unseal the bloodline heavenly pattern box, but it is afraid that this decision will have serious consequences, so it called the weak you over. With your current strength, if you can really stop me, then the Nine Yang Law Spirit will accept this result." The Divine King paused for a moment, his smile became even wider and he said, "If you can't stop me, then you will be eliminated in passing. The Nine Yang Law Spirit has two thoughts: it wants to get rid of you, but it also doesn't want to get rid of you, so it uses this kind of natural method. However, this kind of method is not natural at all, because it is very clear that with your strength, you are not a match for me, so you will definitely die. In other words, the Nine Yang Law Spirit wishes for nothing more than for you to die. The smile on Qin Yun's face gradually disappeared. Previously, he was very puzzled as to why the Nine Yang Law Spirit could not sense the great Divine King, and even told him to find him himself. Furthermore, it told him to come here and did not allow him to tell the Nine Sun Goddess. He did not doubt what the great Divine King said. There was indeed only one Nine Yang Law Spirit, and it was still in a state of mental derangement. The Yang Law Spirit was unable to make a single decision. Or rather, it wanted to do something crazy in its heart, but it was afraid that it would lead to serious consequences. Even though it knew that there would be serious consequences, it still made a decision. Could not control itself at all. For example, the passage to the outer verse that appeared in the Nine Sun Holy Land was a calamity caused by the Nine Yang Law Spirit. And in order to suppress its crazy thoughts, the Nine Yang Law Spirit would think of a way to stop its crazy actions. Therefore, it told Qin Yun to stop the great Divine King. This was the first time it had contacted Qin Yun. Qin Yun understood many things. The reason why the Nine Yang Law Spirit did not contact him before was because it was worried that Qin Yun would always be able to stop its madness. The Nine Yang Law Spirit understood Qin Yun's abilities very well. This time, the reason why the Nine Yang Law Spirit found Qin Yun was because there was Bing Xing inside the sixth Divine Sun. This involved the Nine Yang Goddess, and the Nine Yang Law Spirit truly treated the Nine Yang Goddess as its daughter. That was why it found Qin Yun. Firstly, deep in its heart, it did not want to lose this daughter. Secondly, it was afraid that after Qin Yun lost Bing Xing, he would become even crazier. Qin Yun calmed down. After understanding the Nine Yang Law Spirit's current mental state, he only wanted to quickly help the Nine Yang Goddess get rid of the Nine Yang Law Spirit. The missions that the Sun Goddess often completed might very well be to help the Nine Yang Law Spirit clean up the mess. Therefore, they rarely mentioned to Qin Yun what missions they were carrying out. The Nine Yang Law Spirit has found me. This is the right decision. Qin Yun is very calm at this moment, and he is even a little excited in his heart. Just as Brother Taisher said, this is an opportunity to get rid of the great Divine King and that primordial Taisher. The great Divine King and primordial Taisher were a huge hidden danger. Primordial Taisher had his own consciousness. He might be able to communicate with the Nine Yang Law Spirit through the great Divine King and lure the Nine Yang Law Spirit to make an even crazier decision. Qin Yun, the Nine Yang Law Spirit, has already completely given up on you. Everything it has ordered you to do is to send you to a dead end. In order to face the Nine Yang Goddess, it will not personally make a move against you. The great Divine King also took out a longsword. This time, its crazy idea of devouring the sixth Divine Sun will harm the goddess inside. Doesn't it know that? Qin Yun is still very angry about this matter. Of course it knows, but it's like this. It originally wanted to devour the energy of the outer verse through the Nine Sun Sacred Land, but the outer verse took the opportunity to open a passage, allowing the creatures from the outer realm to invade. The great Divine King chuckled and said, "The invasion of the outer realm creatures can even destroy the myriad realms' Divine Sun, but the Nine Yang Law Spirit doesn't care at all. It seems that the Divine Desolate Land needs a true Divine King to suppress the Nine Yang Law Spirit from destroying itself." Qin Yun looked at the saber in his hand and sighed helplessly. Chapter 29:48. After the great Divine Lord heard Qin Yun's words, he suddenly laughed maniacally and said, "The true Divine King of the Divine Desolate is definitely me. Only I can suppress the Nine Suns Law Spirit and even replace it." "What great ambitions you have!" Qin Yun chuckled coldly. Aren't you afraid that the Nine Suns' Law Spirit will find out and destroy you? The Nine Suns' Law Spirit can't destroy me, it can't do it either. Qin Yun, it seems like you don't know how powerful I am. Even without the Nine Suns' Law Spirit, my Divine King Heavenly Seal can still release a powerful power. The great Divine Lord is even more pleased with himself. Qin Yun had long known that the great Divine Lord's Divine King Heavenly Seal contained the primordial Grand Prime, and it was even conscious. If now that he heard the great Divine Lord's words, Qin Yun was even more certain that the primordial Grand Prime's consciousness must have helped the great Divine Lord a lot, allowing him to break through so quickly. The Nine Suns' Law Spirit still needs to borrow the power of my Divine King Heavenly Seal. Ha ha, as long as my Divine King Heavenly Seal is unsealed, I will become the overlord of the Divine Desolate. The great Divine Lord laughed maniacally. Qin Yun only felt that the great Divine Lord was extremely stupid. The consciousness of the primordial Grand Prime had already completely fooled the great Divine Lord, making him believe it to be true. Qin Yun also had a Grand Prime, but he didn't completely trust that brother Grand Prime. What a pitiful fellow! He didn't even know that he was being sold. Qin Yun sneered. You ignorant thing, shut up! The great Divine Lord angrily rebuked as many runes suddenly appeared on the sword in his hand. The runes on the sword looked like meridians and looked extremely strange. Great! After the Divine King angrily rebuked, he suddenly slashed at Qin Yun. The sword energy that erupted out brought with it 2,000 divine cosmos power. Through the heavenly eye, Qin Yun could see the number of divine cosmos power that the great Divine Lord struck out. He immediately activated the 9 Sun Divine Spirits' Sun Heavenly Shield and injected his own divine cosmos power. He released 500 divine cosmos power, and through the Universe Explosion Divine Technique, it instantly became 2,000. He injected it into the 9 Sun Divine Spirit and activated the Sun Heavenly Shield to block in front of him. Qin Yun could have dodged, but he wanted to give it a try to see how good his defense was. The Sun Heavenly Shield absorbed Qin Yun's multiplied divine cosmos power and turned into a very powerful light shield. Through the 9 Sun Divine Soul, the 2,000 divine cosmos power could be increased to 2,300. The sword energy released by the great Divine Lord struck the Sun Heavenly Shield and exploded out with an extremely powerful shockwave. Qin Yun was also sent flying. The Yang Heavenly Shield had not been shattered and was still there, but there was only 1,800 divine universe force left. Qin Yun was secretly delighted. Previously, the Sun Heavenly Shield had 2,300 divine universe forces for defense. Now, after blocking the 2,000 divine universe sword Qi, it only expended 500 divine universe forces. He immediately used his God King Heavenly Seal to recover his divine universe power and then quickly strengthened the Sun Sky Shield. Big Wen the God Monarch saw that Qin Yun's energy shield could withstand an attack of 2,000 divine universe force. He was quite astonished. Qin Yun only had 1,200 divine cosmos force, and the divine cosmos force particles only had 2 nuclei. Logically speaking, it was impossible for him to block 2,000 divine cosmos force so easily. Let's see how long you can hold on for. Great Divine Lord brandished his sword again and again as sword beams continuously attacked Qin Yun. Qin Yun did not block it head-on. Instead, he used an extremely fast movement technique to dodge. Every time the Great Divine Lord released a sword energy, the power would be 1 to 2,000 divine universe force. Could it be that this guy can also quickly recover divine universe power? When Qin Yun was dodging just now, he constantly poured divine universe power into the 9 Yang Divine Spirit, wanting to raise the Sun Heavenly Shield's defensive power to the limit. Currently, the Sun Heavenly Shield already had a defense of 6,000 divine universe power. It was impossible to continue increasing it, so Qin Yun could only stop. The Sun Heavenly Shield would not dissipate quickly. As long as he continuously injected divine universe power into it, it would be able to be maintained. After receiving an attack, its defensive power would decrease. Great Divine Lord's divine universe power can only be unleashed 3 times. His attacks on you from the beginning to the end have a total of 9,000 divine universe power, and he himself only has 3,000 divine universe power. This means that he has already used up most of it. Brother Taisher suddenly transmitted his voice to Qin Yun. But he doesn't seem to have exhausted all of his divine universe power. On the contrary, he seems to be very abundant. Yun maintained a distance from the great divine Lord. At this distance, even if he could not dodge, he could still use the Sun Heavenly Shield to block it. The great divine Lord is wearing a tool that can store divine universe power, so it can allow him to last even longer. Brother Taisher said, "If this continues, he will need to eat pills to recover." Qin Yun had heard of this kind of tool that could store divine universe power. It was very precious and the difficulty of refining it was also very high. The materials needed were very special. Storage A tool that stored divine universe power was equivalent to a man-made divine universe. As for the specifics, Qin Yun had never seen it before. He only understood it. Great the Divine King is extremely angry. Qin Yun clearly only had 1200 divine universe power, so it should have been easy to kill him. But now Qin Yun is completely fine. Great Qin Yun could only dodge a portion of the powerful sword energy released by the Divine King, and the other portion was blocked by Qin Yun's Sun Heavenly Shield. What Qin Yun found funny was that the great Divine Lord did not dare to attack him from close range. If he got any closer, it would be even more difficult for Qin Yun to dodge, and he could only block it head-on. The great Divine Lord struck out a total of more than 10,000 divine universe power. In the end, he took out a few pills and ate them. With a glance, one could tell that they were very high-grade space-returning divine pills. Great Divine Lord, you're really a noob. Why did you start eating pills while fighting? Qin Yun chuckled. You coward! Shut your mouth. It's all my attacks you're dodging. What right do you have to mock me? If you have the guts, then attack. The great Divine Lord shouted angrily. After eating a few expensive space-returning divine pills, his heart ached to death. Qin Yun planned to waste another wave of Great Divine Lord. When Great Divine Lord was about to eat the pill, he would be able to counterattack. His cultivation was not as high as the Great Divine Lord's, so he had to calculate the Great Divine Lord's divine universe power. Great the Divine King's body was not as strong as Qin Yun's, and his soul cultivation was also inferior. Once Qin Yun could accurately grasp the opportunity and grasp the moment when the Great Divine Lord's divine universe power was at its weakest, it would be an excellent opportunity to attack. Qin Yun held the myriad heaven divine saber in his hand and the 9 yang divine spirit on his wrist released the Sun Heavenly Shield. His other hand was constantly holding the divine mirror of primal beginning, shining it on the great divine Lord. The divine mirror of primal beginning was extremely important because Taisher could roughly estimate the remaining divine universe power of the great divine Lord. Under the situation where Qin Yun's cultivation was far inferior to his opponent's, he could only use this method. Qin Yun, it doesn't matter if we can't eliminate the great divine Lord. First, we have to stop the bloodline heavenly pattern box from breaking the seal. Old Brother Taisher transmitted his voice to Qin Yun. The bloodline heavenly pattern box was still devouring the surrounding energy. The spatial devouring domain had not spread to the 6th divine sun, so there was still plenty of time. Got it. Qin Yun's divine universe power could be continuously replenished, so he could spend a period of time to figure out how much divine universe power the great divine Lord had in his body. Chapter 2949. Qin Yun's divine universe power could be constantly replenished through the Divine King Heavenly Seal. This only required the consumption of divine universe golden rocks, but it did not mean that he could continue fighting for a long time. His body would be fatigued. The divine cosmos energy flowed through his body, and if it erupted, it would place a great burden on his body. If this continued for too long, his divine cosmos golden tendons would be damaged. Great Divine Lord, your cultivation is so much higher than mine, but you're unable to kill me for so long. If my cultivation was the same as yours, you would definitely be killed by me in one move, Qin Yun said with a sneer. With your level, what face do you have to call yourself the Great Divine King? What right do you have to be the overlord of the Divine Desolate? Godly Monarch was agitated by Qin Yun's words. Although he already knew that Qin Yun was not easy to deal with, he never expected Qin Yun to be this difficult. Previously, the Nine Yang Law Spirit had already told the Great Divine Lord that it would be very difficult to kill Qin Yun. He could just let the Great Divine Lord delay Qin Yun or injure him. At that time, the Great Divine Lord did not believe in the Nine Yang Dharma Spirit and did not think much of it. From his point of view, his divine universe power was much higher than Qin Yun's. Even if he could not beat Qin Yun, he could easily defeat him. But now, after a round of fierce attacks, the Great Divine Lord realized that Qin Yun was even stronger than what the Nine Yang Law Spirit had described. The Nine Yang Law Spirit allowed the Great Divine Lord to severely injure Qin Yun, but now, the Great Divine Lord did not even manage to injure a single strand of Qin Yun's hair. What gave the Great Divine Lord the most pressure was that Qin Yun had yet to begin his attack. Qin Yun, it's not like you can hurt me. What's there to be proud of? What's the point of us wasting time like this? If this goes on, the one who loses will definitely be you. Great Divine Lord sneered. If I were you, I would definitely escape far away from the divine wasteland and hide at the edge of the universe. You are not me, so you will never know what I am thinking, Qin Yun said with a smile. Great Divine King, you are truly a pitiful worm. You don't even know that you have been used. You still think that you can become the overlord of the divine desolate land. The Divine King is very angry, but he did not immediately attack, because he knows that Qin Yun wants to fight a protracted battle. See, although the Great Divine King was not as valiant as before, Qin Yun was not in a hurry. That was because he had already expected such a situation. He already had a countermeasure. Qin Yun immediately rushed towards the bloodline heavenly pattern box. The Great Divine Lord is very flustered as he hastily attacked Qin Yun. Furthermore, he is approaching Qin Yun to fight in close combat. With his fastest speed, the Great Divine Lord instantly arrived behind Qin Yun and slashed down with his sword. Bang! Qin Yun immediately waved his hand and used the Sun Heavenly Shield released by the Nine Sun Divine Soul on his wrist to block the sword. He could have dodged it, but if he used the Sun Heaven Shield to block it, it would consume even more of the Great Divine Lord's divine universe power. You damned bastard, don't even think about stopping us! As the Great Divine Lord shouted angrily, he roared and slashed down at Qin Yun with great force. Boom! Straight following that, 7,000 divine universe power erupted and shattered the Sun Heavenly Shield. Fortunately, Qin Yun used the Myriad Heaven Divine Saber to block from behind in time. Otherwise, the Great Divine Lord's sword would have definitely cut open his chest. Qin after Yun was sent flying, she had a lingering fear in her heart. That sword was too terrifying. At this moment, the surrounding mist of light had been blown away, and a baleful aura surged. The Great Divine Lord's face was also filled with shock. He had used 7,000 divine universe powers, but he had not been able to kill Qin Yun. Qin Yun's Sun Heavenly Shield had the defense of 6,000 divine universe powers. After blocking 7,000, he used the Myriad Heaven Divine Saber to block the remaining 1,000, so it was not a big deal. Qin Yun, now is the time. Brother Taisher suddenly shouted. Qin Yun's divine universe power had always been abundant. 1,200 divine universe power. If he were to unleash it 4 times, Coupled with other divine arts and techniques, it would not be a problem to reach 5,000. Great Divine Lord hurriedly took out a few universe divine pills and ate them. When he saw Qin Yun rushing over, he shouted in shock. Qin Yun's current abundance of divine universe power made it hard for the Great Divine Lord to understand. Only in an instant, Qin Yun arrived in front of the Great Divine Lord. The Great Divine Lord wanted to make a move, but for some reason, his soul suddenly trembled. His soul had suffered a very strong mental attack. Qin Yun used his mental universe power to attack the Great Divine Lord's soul. The Great Divine Lord was unable to resist at all. Following that, the Great Divine Lord sensed that his body had been struck. Qin Yun unleashed 4 times the 1,000 divine cosmos power in his body. Together with the Heaven Annihilation 9 stances Heaven Frenzy stance, he unleashed a total of 5,000 divine cosmos power. What surprised Qin Yun was that the Great Divine Lord had a very strong defensive equipment on him. After his saber broke through the defensive equipment, a long gash appeared on the Great Divine Lord's chest. At the same time that the Great Divine Lord was struck, he was sent flying by the powerful divine universe power. He did not die, but he was already severely injured. This guy. Where did he get such a good armor? It seems to be a heavenly talisman. Qin Yun immediately used the Divine King Heavenly Seal to recover his divine cosmos power and charged at the Great Divine King once again. Big after the Divine King was sent flying, he immediately took out a teleportation pearl. Just as Qin Yun went over, the Great Divine King teleported away. Damn it! Seeing that the Great Divine Lord had run away, Yun could only curse helplessly. He could not chase after him because he still had to destroy the bloodline heavenly pattern box. Big the Divine King had no choice but to abandon his Divine King Heavenly Seal and run away. Otherwise, he would be killed by Qin Yun. He was not worried about the bloodline heavenly pattern box because he still had the 9 Yang Law Spirit. Qin Yun charged towards the bloodline heavenly pattern box that was constantly expanding its devouring domain. This was the Great Divine King's Divine King Heavenly Seal. It looked like a small octagonal box, and it was currently floating there, crazily devouring the surrounding energy. This good-for-nothing Great Divine King can't even protect his own Divine King Heavenly Seal. When Yun flew over, he suddenly felt a very strong force surging towards him. This is bad. Yun was alarmed. He saw that the bloodline heavenly pattern box was suddenly enveloped by 6 powerful forces. It was the divine power of 6 myriad realms divine sons. It was the 9 Yang Law Spirit. It used the power of 6 myriad realms divine sons to envelop the bloodline heavenly pattern box. 9 Yang Law Spirit, why are you protecting this box? Qin Yun shouted. This box is a scourge, it must be destroyed. The 9 Yang Law Spirit's voice came over. This depends on the user. If it is used well, then it will be useful. I need to borrow the power of this box to seal the 9 Sun Holy Land's passage. Then why didn't you just take the box? With your strength, directly killing the Great Divine King is not a problem. Qin Yun is very dissatisfied and said coldly. I can't kill the Great Divine King and I can't attack him. I also can't attack you, this is my principle. The 9 Yang Law Spirit said. Qin Yun, you are very outstanding, I am also very grateful to you. Yun snorted and angrily rebuked. 9 Yang Law Spirit, do you still want to make mistakes again? You were the one who opened the passage to the 9 Sun Holy Land. Now you want to use this kind of reckless method to seal it, this will only lead to another big mistake. I am the 9 Yang Law Spirit, there is no right or wrong in the decision I make. The result of my choice is natural, it has nothing to do with me. The 9 Yang Law Spirit said, Don't worry, I will think of another way to break the seal of this box. I won't use the method of devouring Divine Sun to break the seal. Chapter 2950. Qin Yun is very angry. Only now did he realize that the Nine Yang Law Spirit is such a strange fellow. He immediately realized that he was tricked. When the Nine Yang Law Spirit contacted him, it mentioned that Bing Xing would be in danger, so he immediately came over. After Qin Yun arrived, he managed to chase away the great divine king with great difficulty. However, the bloodline heavenly pattern box was snatched away by the Nine Yang Law Spirit. The bloodline heavenly pattern box was wrapped up by a ball of golden energy and gradually floated away. Qin Yun also thought of snatching it back, but he is currently unable to fight against the Nine Yang Law Spirit. No matter what, I am still very grateful to you this time. The Nine Yang Law Spirit's voice came over. It no longer needs to use the Divine King Heavenly Seal to send a message to Qin Yun. What are you thanking me for? Didn't you give this box to the great Divine King? Qin Yun snorted. He no longer wants to pay attention to this Nine Yang Law Spirit. I indeed gave it to him, but when this box was with me, the Law Spirit inside could not wake up. It was the great Divine King who awakened the Law Spirit inside the box. The Nine Yang Law Spirit said with smile, "What I need is precisely that Law Spirit." Qin Yun is very clear that the Nine Yang Law Spirit needs the primordial Grand Prime Spirit. He is now even more anxious. If the primordial Grand Prime knew that there was another Grand Prime, then the Grand Prime in Qin Yun's hands would be in danger. The Nine Yang Law Spirit can't make a move against the Divine King, so it can't directly take it back. Therefore, Qin Yun has indeed helped the Nine Yang Law Spirit greatly. Qin Yun now only wants to curse the Nine Yang Law Spirit. It clearly knows that the primordial Grand Prime is very dangerous, but it still wants to undo the seal. Nine Yang Law Spirit, your current state is very unstable and Divine Desolate is facing the threat of the Outerverse. I hope you can calm down properly. Qin Yun said. Qin Yun, the matters of the heavens Divine Desolate have nothing to do with me. I gave you a place to live and gave you a chance to grow. Besides, the heavens Divine Desolate is filled with resources. You can cultivate and become stronger. And protecting Divine Desolate requires you to rely on yourselves. If you rely on me for everything, wouldn't you be like pigs? The Nine Yang Law Spirit said with smile. It doesn't seem to be worried at all about the threat from the Outerverse. And before, it even said that it would use the box to block the passage. The Nine Yang Dharma Spirit's current state was very chaotic. It would constantly switch between its two consciousnesses. We can block external enemies, but we are afraid of internal enemies. We are even more afraid of you causing trouble for us. Qin Yun coldly snorted and said, "Wasn't the Nine Sun Sacred Lands passageway created by you?" The Nine Yang Dharma Spirit said, "I was the one who created it, which is why I want to seal it. But then again, the Outerverse is so powerful. If you can learn something from the humans in the Outerverse, then it won't be a bad thing. Everything has two sides. You can't always think about the bad side. You have to think about the good side." Qin Yun is truly speechless. This Nine Yang Dharma Spirit is far more exotic than he imagined. Don't implicate Nine Sun Divine Maiden, otherwise I won't let you off. Qin Yun's voice is filled with coldness and severity as he warned the Nine Sun Law Spirit. I know. Actually, I only intentionally lured the great Divine Lord over this time to let him release that bloodline heavenly pattern box, and then I let you come over to chase him away. How could I just watch as the 600,000 universe god sons were devoured? It wasn't easy for me to create such a huge myriad realms divine Sunday. The Nine Yang Law Spirit laughed and said. Qin Yun doesn't know whether the Nine Yang Law Spirit is telling the truth or not. In short, the Nine Yang Law Spirit gives him a very unreliable feeling. How did you create this 600,000 universe godson? Why is it so big? Qin Yun has always been curious. This is one of the benefits of opening the Outerverse passage. It allows me to obtain a lot of energy from the Outerverse. You obtained the Divine Sun cultivation method, right? Then you should know that divine suns are formed by obtaining energy from the universe, and the sixth divine sun is formed by obtaining energy from two universes. The 9 Yang Law Spirit's voice is filled with pride. Qin Yun is secretly alarmed. If what the 9 Yang Law Spirit said is true, then opening the passage to the outer verse indeed has many benefits. The 9 Yang Law Spirit said again, Qin Yun, if you want your divine sun to become stronger quickly, just relying on the energy of one universe is not enough. You need 2 universes or even 3 universes. Just wait and see, the 7th divine sun will be even bigger. 3 universes. This made Qin Yun recall what the Heaven Destroyer said. In the ancient Desolate there is also a passage to the outer verse. However, they did not encounter any foreign life forms. However, once the foreign life forms rush out of the barrier, it will be very dangerous. Qin Yun is very worried. This is an unconventional move. If I can rely on this passage to obtain even more energy and finally complete 9 powerful myriad realms divine suns, I will definitely be able to seal the 9 sun holy land properly. I am betting on whether the foreign life forms can break through the barrier faster or my divine sun cultivation speed can be faster. The 9 Yang Law Spirit said. Qin Yun heard before that this kind of powerful law spirit does not care about the life forms of the heavens divine desolate. Now, after talking with the 9 Yang Law Spirit, he can deeply feel it. Just like what the 9 Yang Law Spirit said, it created the heavens divine desolate and the myriad realms divine suns, allowing a large number of life forms to survive and become stronger. This is its greatest benevolence. The 9 Yang Law Spirit believes that it has no obligation to protect the life forms of the heavens divine desolate. As for the life forms of the heavens divine desolate, whether or not they can withstand all kinds of disasters and survive would depend on themselves. Qin Yun, us divine sons also have a struggle between divine suns. If I lose, then the heavens divine desolate will definitely be destroyed. Therefore, I must become stronger, otherwise I won't be able to protect the heavens divine desolate. The 9 Yang Law Spirit said again, You are unable to understand my actions because you do not understand my situation. Then is there a 9 Sun evil spirit? Qin Yun asked again. Of course there is. I am the 9 Sun evil spirit and at the same time, I am also the 9 Yang Law Spirit. We exist together and no one can do without one. The 9 Yang Law Spirit said. Did you tell the great divine Lord to get the evil spirit zombie before? Qin Yun has always been thinking about this matter. Killed many people. I was the one who told the great divine Lord and the others to do it. We told them to find corpses but they did not do so, so they used living people to do it. And in the end, didn't they also get punished by you? The 9 Yang Law Spirit said with a smile. Now you know the meaning of your existence as a divine king, right? Could it be that my existence is to correct your mistakes? Qin Yun is even more unhappy. He feels that he is the one who has to clean up the mess. No, I won't make mistakes, so I don't need to correct you. The meaning of your existence is to do what you think is right. Sometimes what I do is not right for you or for the heavens divine desolate. At this time, I need you to intervene. The 9 Yang Law Spirit said. Chapter 29:51. Qin Yun rolled his eyes. The 9 Yang Law Spirit had said a lot, but he did not admit that he had made a mistake. The so-called right and wrong has to be combined with the environment and all kinds of people and things. As for me, I am a transcendent existence. I did not grow up in the environment of the divine desolate, so when I make a decision, I will not consider the environment of the divine desolate. Naturally, there is no right or wrong. Everything I do is to make myself stronger, to make the myriad realms divine suns stronger, to be able to release more energy, to bring more resources to the divine desolate heavens, so that all living beings in the divine desolate heavens will benefit. The 9 Suns Law Spirit said again. Qin Yun also knew that the 9 Yang Law Spirit said so much in order to let him understand more. As long as you become stronger, the Divine Desolate will be able to prosper and more powerful living beings will appear. Therefore, in the process of you becoming stronger, there will be many unfavorable situations for the Divine Desolate, which will lead to the death of a large number of living beings. However, this is not within your consideration, right? Qin Yun asked. That's right. Why do you think I should consider the survival of living beings? In my opinion, regardless of life or death, all living beings are energy. After death, the energy will return to the Divine Desolate, float into the universe or be reborn through reincarnation. Death, is it just a new beginning? If this life is not good in the next life, maybe it will be better? The 9 Yang Law Spirit laughed. You are also a person who has lived for many lifetimes, you should be clear about this. At this moment, Qin Yun roughly understood the state of the 9 Yang Law Spirit. The 9 Yang Law Spirit still cared about the life and death of the living beings in the Divine Desolate, which was why the 9 Yang Goddess existed. Sometimes, the mission of the 9 Yang Goddess was to protect some strong races. If one day I kill the great Divine Lord, will you punish me? Qin Yun asked. No. Similarly, if the great Divine Lord kills you, I will not punish him. I will not interfere in the matters between the two of you. The 9 Yang Law Spirit said. The living beings of the Divine Desolate live and die on their own. What does that have to do with me? Then will you still contact me in the future? I always feel that if you look for me in the future, it will definitely not be a good thing. Qin Yun did not want to help the 9 Yang Law Spirit anymore. I won't be questioned as much if I find someone else. I looked for you, but you didn't listen to me at all. You even scolded me in your heart. Of course, you're pretty good at handling matters. The 9 Yang Law Spirit chuckled and said, This time, I had no choice but to find you. I knew that you could take care of the Great Divine Lord. Great Divine Lord said that you were the one who sent me here to die. Do you have such thoughts? Qin Yun asked. Of course not. The Great Divine Lord said that because he doesn't understand you. I understand you very well. You actually managed to cultivate a soul divine universe, and I actually didn't notice it before. How did you cultivate it? The 9 Yang Law Spirit was suddenly very curious. I also don't know how I cultivated. Maybe I stumbled upon it by accident. My cultivation all these years has been random. Qin Yun said. It's good to be reckless, it's good to be reckless. I'm also reckless. It seems that we are quite similar. When you have your own 9 divine sons in the future, we can discuss divine son cultivation again. The 9 Yang Law Spirit laughed and said, All right, I'll go study that book. I'll send you on your way. After the 9 Yang Law Spirit finished speaking, Qin Yun felt the surrounding space fluctuate and then he was teleported to a world of ice and snow. Qin Yun looked at the ground. It is a transparent ice crystal, and there are many icebergs in the distance. In the center of this space, there is a huge ice ball floating in the air. This ice ball is spraying a kind of white-blue flame. However, this flame is not hot at all. Instead, it is releasing waves of cold air. This is the core region of the 600,000 universe divine sun. Qin Yun looked at the floating huge ice ball. That is the core of the 6th divine Sunday Bing Xing is inside. The 6th divine sun is extremely huge, and the light it emits is extremely scorching. Even Qin Yun found it somewhat unbearable. He had no choice but to circulate the divine universe power to resist the scorching light. What surprised him is that the core region of the 6th divine sun is actually a world of ice and snow. The core of the divine sun is also a huge ice sun core. Could it be because Sister Bing Xing is inside? Qin Yun released his mental power and easily penetrated the ice sun core. Sister Bing Xing, it's me. Qin Yun shouted softly. Why are you here? Sister Bing Xing immediately responded. Her surprised and cold voice sounded, It seems to be filled with a trace of pleasant surprise. It's a long story. Qin Yun immediately flew towards the Ice Sun core. As he approached, he could sense an ice-cold and gentle energy. The Ice Sun core suddenly shot out a beam of light and landed on Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun flew along the white light and easily penetrated the surface of the Ice Sun core and entered the core. There is a very spacious room here. The four walls are covered with white ice crystals. There are tables, chairs and beds made of ice. At the top of the room, there is a spatial whirlpool. It is a passageway to enter multiple spaces. Bing Xing slowly floated down from that passageway. She is wearing a snow-white long dress that fluttered slightly. After seeing Qin Yun, a gentle light flashed in her eyes. This holy and aloof goddess has been separated from Qin Yun for a very long time. Now that she has seen Qin Yun, she, who is cold on the outside but warm on the inside, can no longer suppress the hot and dry feelings in her heart. Sister Bing Xing, I missed you so much. Qin Yun directly flashed over and hugged Bing Xing tightly in his arms. The two of them did not say much and began kissing passionately. They reunited after a long time. Deep feelings lingered and they sank into tenderness and sweetness. After being intimate for a long time, they finally calmed down. Bing Xing looked at Qin Yun, who was sleeping soundly beside her. She gently caressed his face and said with a frown, "Why is he so tired? Could it be that he fought with someone before?" She did not know what happened outside the sixth Divine Sunday. She also did not know that the Nine Suns Law Spirit had contacted Qin Yun. Bing Xing did not wait for Qin Yun to wake up. She picked him up and brought him to a pool of water. She let him soak in the warm and comfortable hot water, and let him lean on her. Bing Xing gently hugged Qin Yun in the water. She could not help but recall the things that she and Qin Yun experienced in their past lives. Now that they have reached this step, she can only sigh endlessly. Qin Yun slept very soundly. Only in the embrace of his sweetheart could he rest in such a relaxed manner. A few hours later, Qin Yun woke up. He discovered that he is soaking in a pool of water. There is an ice-cold and absolutely beautiful woman accompanying him. His heart is filled with happiness. "Sister Bing Xing, are you very bored here?" Qin Yun looked around and said, "When can you go out? It's not that boring. I can cultivate in peace here." Bing Xing gently shook her head and said with a smile. Chapter 29:52. Qin Yun feels very sorry for these 9 Sun Divine Maiden. They have to stay in this place alone for a long time. If they enter multiple spaces, they won't even be able to contact the outside world. "Sister Bing Xing, when can you leave this place?" Qin Yun gently hugged the beauty beside him. Hugging a beauty in the warm, hot pool, this feeling is very wonderful. "I still don't know. Yuelon and Yueme can go out very early. It's mainly because the core of the myriad realms divine sun they are in has already fully grown, so they don't need to stay inside." Bing Xing sighed softly, her lily-white hand swam in the water and gently rubbed Qin Yun's thick shoulders. Qin Yun has also been to the core of Ancestral God Sun and Second Divine Sun, but he did not find anything different. The Ice Sun core where Bing Xing is indeed a bit smaller than the core of Ancestral God Sun and Second Divine Sunday want. He knows that the Sixth Divine Sun Bing Xing is in is so huge, but the core is not as big as the earliest Divine Sunday. This means that there is still a lot of room for growth. "Sister Bing Xing, I'm very worried about you. Are you really safe here?" Qin Yun thought that something was going to happen to Bing Xing. That's why he rushed over at top speed. Who knew that it was 9 Sun Law Spirit who tricked him into coming here? If 9 Sun Law Spirit said this again, he would definitely come again. Because regarding the matter of 9 Sun Divine Maiden, he would rather believe it. "Xiao Yun, what's wrong?" "I'm very safe here. What are you worried about?" Bing Xing felt that Qin Yun is hugging her tightly, as if he is afraid of losing her. "Nothing, something just happened." Qin Yun does not plan to tell Bing Xing about the 9 Sun Law Spirit. Bing Xing knows that Qin Yun must have encountered something, but she did not continue to ask. Instead, she smiled and asked, "Where's Yuner? How is she now? Is she still with you?" "Her current state is no longer the Tao spirit from back then, but she still can't leave me," Qin Yun said. Bing Xing is very familiar with Ling Yuner. Back then, it was Ling Yuner who guided her to help Qin Yun resolve his heart devil. Bing Xing clearly remembers the things that she and Qin Yun experienced. "Let her come out, I haven't seen her for a long time." Bing Xing gently struggled free from Qin Yun's embrace and looked at him with a smile. The cold and beautiful her bathed in the steaming hot pool. She appeared extremely gentle. The beauty of this peerless beauty left Qin Yun in a daze. Is it convenient now? Qin Yun could already imagine what would happen after Ling Yun came out. What's inconvenient about it? Bing Xing gently coiled up her long wet hair and let it hang in front of her chest. She smiled. "It's not like I don't know about the matter between you and her. I miss this little fairy very much. Quickly get her out." Qin Yun thought of how Ling Yuner was alone in the Nine Sun Divine Soul. Although she had Mo and the other cute little girls to accompany her, she would definitely feel bored. He felt that he had let her down. He greeted Ling Yuner and let her out. There is no need to mention how happy Ling Yuner is. After coming out, she quickly jumped into the pool and hugged Bing Xing. Then, she chattered a lot. Qin Yun leaned against the side of the pool and soaked in the comfortable hot water. She closed her eyes slightly and listened to the two women chatting. Ever since Ling Yun's consciousness was separated from Qin Yun's, she knew less and less about Qin Yun's affairs. However, Qin Yun still talked to her about his affairs from time to time. He often chatted with Ling Yuner, mainly to relieve her boredom. I Xing found out from Ling Yuner that Zi Qingqing and the others are not in the Nine Sun Divine Soul. Originally, she wanted to let them come out to chat. Sister Bing Xing, Xiao Yun still hasn't met Sister Qingqing and the others. This guy. Ling Yun lightly rolled her eyes at Qin Yun. Is that so? Bing Xing looked at Qin Yun in surprise. Qin Yun coughed dryly and quickly changed the topic. He asked, "Sister Bing Xing, how much divine universe power are you cultivating in the Ice Sun core? You are helping the divine sun strengthen inside the core. The Nine Sun Law Spirit won't treat you unfairly, right?" "Of course it won't treat me unfairly. There are many benefits to cultivating here. It's easier to refine divine universe golden tendons. Yuelon and Yueme have refined divine universe golden tendons inside the core. In the future, when they want to strengthen divine universe golden tendons, they can enter the core and quickly cultivate it," Bing Xing said. Spirit Yuner promptly hugged Bing Xing and said with a smile, "Sister Bing Xing, you are so awesome. You have already cultivated divine universe golden tendons. Your body must be very strong, but when I hug you, it is still so soft. It's so good." "Xiao Yun, what happened to you before? Why did you drag your tired body back? Logically speaking, you have already severed your connection with the Nine Sun Law Spirit. You shouldn't be able to enter the Divine Sun core anymore." Bing Xing is very puzzled about this matter and promptly walked to Qin Yun's side. She originally did not want to ask, but seeing how worried Qin Yun was about her, and even asked if the Nine Sun Law Spirit had treated her unfairly, she really wanted to know if Qin Yun had contacted the Nine Sun Law Spirit or not. Qin Yun is hesitating whether he should say it or not. Bing Xing's soft hand is placed on Qin Yun's cheek. A pair of cold and beautiful eyes are staring at Qin Yun. When she is serious, her entire body is emitting a very cold and powerful aura. Qin Yun looked at the jade-like beauty in front of him. She is currently in the pool. Her beautiful and delicate body is shrouded in a faint mist, causing her cold aura to lessen a bit. Instead, it made her look even more tender and beautiful. Ling Yuner, who is beside her, is a very charming person. However, at this moment, she is suppressed by Bing Xing's unique ice-cold temperament. The Nine Sun Law Spirit contacted me. I communicated with the Nine Sun Law Spirit for quite a long time. Qin Yun answered truthfully. Facing such a beauty's interrogation, he can only answer honestly. It didn't make things difficult for you, right? Bing Xing suddenly said in a soft voice. However, her expression is filled with surprise. She never expected that the Nine Sun Law Spirit would contact Qin Yun. Ling Yun'er also hastily came out of the water. She went to Qin Yun's side and pinched him. She said with a frown, "Xiao Yun, did the Nine Sun Law Spirit make things difficult for you? Did you suffer a lot to come here to meet Sister Bing Xing?" Bing Xing also thinks so. Her eyes are filled with worry as she looked at him. "A mere Nine Sun Law Spirit can't do anything to me." Qin Yun smiled and gently hugged the two women's slender waists, letting them lean on him. "Then why is the Nine Sun Law Spirit looking for you?" Bing Xing is still very puzzled and gently pinched Qin Yun's arm. "This bastard tricked me. I really didn't expect it to be such a strange guy. Only now do I understand it a little." Soon after, Qin Yun began to narrate the matter of him being called over by the Nine Sun Law Spirit. Ai Xing and Ling Yun leaned on Qin Yun and listened quietly. Bing Xing frowned as she listened, especially when she found out that the Nine Sun Law Spirit wanted Qin Yun to face the Great Divine King. Ling Yun'er is not clear about the Great Divine King's strength. She believes that Qin Yun should be able to defeat the Great Divine King, so she did not think much of it. Chapter 29:53. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he walked out of the pool, took out his clothes and put them on. He asked, "Sister Bing Xing, do you think it's normal for the Nine Yang Law Spirit to act like this?" He had mentioned the danger of the box earlier, but he did not reveal the existence of the Grand Prime. Bing Xing and Ling Yun'er also walked out of the pool, wearing a white dress. As Bing Xing tidied up her dress, she said, "It's very normal. The Nine Suns Law Spirit will always do such dangerous things. However, he rarely lets us, the Nine Suns Goddess, take risk. He never lets us face powerful enemies." The Nine Suns Goddess would often head to those dangerous treasured lands, but that was above the divine wilderness. With the myriad realms' divine suns in the sky, they would not encounter any danger. Even if they were to face strong enemies, the myriad realms' divine sun would still give them great protection. However, it could not guarantee their safety. Qin Yun does not believe that the Nine Yang Dharma Spirit would not let the Nine Yang Divine Maiden take risk. For example, even if Bing Xing and the others experienced danger themselves, they would definitely not tell Qin Yun. They are afraid that he would worry and overthink things. So that great divine lord specialized in doing dirty work for the Nine Yang Law Spirit. Not only did this guy not do his dirty work properly, he even caused trouble everywhere. He must be eliminated. Ling Yun'er said. Bing Xing was somewhat helpless as she shook her head and said, "After getting rid of the great divine lord, the Nine Yang Law Spirit will support another replacement. It's impossible to get rid of all of them. It's fine to help the Nine Yang FA Spirit, but there must at least be a bottom line. The Nine Yang FA Spirit still has a bottom line, but the person it found doesn't have a bottom line. For someone like the Great Divine Lord, the Nine Yang FA Spirit can't get rid of him, so it's up to me." Qin Yun always felt that he was the existence that corrected the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit even though the Nine Suns Dharma Spirit did not admit it. "Xiao Yun, when you face the Nine Sun Law Spirit, you must calm down. It is the same as Yu Xieji from before, it understands you better. It knows your weakness." Bing Xing is suddenly very worried and can't help but hold Qin Yun's hands. "I know, I will calm down." Although Qin Yun said so, he did not know if he could deal with such a situation calmly if he were to really face it. "Sister Bing Xing, where are Yu Tian and Yu Shi? I haven't heard from them for a long time, and I haven't seen them for a long time." Ling Yun'er asked. Yu Tian and Yu Shi have the same appearance as Bing Xing, but their temperament and character are completely different, just like triplets. They have the goddess mission. Sister Kiru, Xiao Tian and Xiao Shi, their divine son has not appeared, so they have even more goddess mission. Yueme and Yuelon don't have anything to do for now because they have to be on standby at all times to deal with the situation in their divine son cores. Bing Xing gently touched Ling Yun-er's face and said with a smile, "Don't worry about them, they are all safe." "How strong are they? Have they all improved?" Qin Yun asked. "If they don't have enough strength, how can they do so many things?" The 9 sons divine ladies did not have much time to cultivate, but the 9 sons Dharma spirit would give them a lot of compensation, allowing them to quickly improve their cultivation. Don't worry about their cultivation. Although they are not inside the myriad realms divine son, as long as they finish one thing, the 9 sons law spirit will help them cultivate, Bing Xing said. Ling Yun'er took out the magic mirror and muttered, "Sister Bing Xing, do you have their contact information? I want to talk to them." Sister Kiru, Xiao Tian and Xiao Shi, they are all inside the 9 Sun Holy Land. Bing Xing shook her head. The 9 Sun Holy Land is isolated from the outside world, the magic mirror can't connect. Qin Yun and Ling Yun jumped in fright. Xie Kiru and the other 2 9 Suns divine ladies are actually in the 9 Sun Holy Land. When Qin Yun entered the 9 Sun Holy Land, he did not take out their soul-chasing talismans. The main reason is that he did not expect them to be in such a dangerous place. When Bing Xing saw Qin Yun and Ling Yun are frightened, she pulled their hands and comforted them. "Nothing will happen. I can contact them from time to time inside the Divine Sun Core and know their situation." "What are they doing in the 9 Sun Holy Land?" Ling Yun delicately groaned and said, "This 9 Suns Law Spirit is really something. Why did it let them go to such a dangerous place?" Ling Yun heard Qin Yun talk about the dangers inside the 9 Sun Holy Land, especially the strength of those outsiders. They are all very formidable. The 9 Suns Law Spirit will protect them. Besides, they are not ordinary people. Bing Xing said, "In the future, I might have to frequently enter the 9 Sun Holy Land." Qin Yun cannot help but tighten his grip on Bing Xing's hand. Clearly, he is worried. This made him understand that he must become stronger even faster. The 9 Suns divine ladies now need to help the 9 Suns Law Spirit. And if the 9 Suns Law Spirit goes crazy one day, it will definitely harm them. Qin Yun guessed that the reason the 9 Suns Law Spirit let Xiekiru and the others move around in the 9 Sun Holy Land is because it wants to set up something inside. The 9 Suns Law Spirit previously said that it wants to borrow the power of the Bloodline Heavenly Pattern Box to seal the passage. However, the 9 Suns Law Spirit also said that because there is a passage to the Outerverse, it can create a very large 600,000 Heavenly Divine Sunday. It can allow the Divine Sun to absorb the energy of the 2 universes, allowing the Divine Sun to grow even faster and become even stronger. Therefore, the 9 Suns Law Spirit might not really want to seal the passage. It might just want to strengthen the barrier of the 9 Sun Holy Land. This way, the creatures from the outside world will not be able to enter the Divine Desolate. "Xiao Yun, you should go back. I'm going to enter multiple spaces. After opening up 9 spaces, I'll be able to leave," Bing Xing said. Ling Yun'er and Bing Xing hugged each other and then returned to the 9 Suns Divine Spirit. Qin Yun also hugged Bing Xing and kissed her for a while. He also very reluctantly bid farewell. Bing Xing sent Qin Yun out of the 6th Divine Sunday. After Qin Yun left, he took out a teleportation pearl and returned to the Imperial Heaven sect. After returning, the teleportation pearl was also damaged. Teleportation pearls cannot be used repeatedly. The lifespan of transcending space divine stone is limited. After using it a few times, it will lose its effectiveness. After that, one can only refine new teleportation pearls. When Qin Yun returned to the Imperial Heaven sect, he felt that the Imperial Heaven sect is very lively today. In the past, it was rather deserted and the disciples were all immersed in cultivation. And as soon as he entered the Imperial Heaven sect, he felt a very lively atmosphere. The number of people in the Imperial Heaven sect suddenly increased by a lot. Could it be that people from other sects have come? Qin Yun took out the magic mirror. He did not receive any news. He opened a few groups and found out that a very shocking news came from the Imperial Heaven sect. A group of people with bloodline heavenly runes from the Heavenly Moon ancient clan have appeared. And this caused many disciples of the Heaven Creation sects to come and take a look at these Heavenly Moon ancient clan people who joined the Imperial Heaven sect. This matter caused quite a stir because these Heavenly Moon ancient clan people are all young people. Previously, none of them had bloodline heavenly runes. Now, they suddenly have one and they even joined the Imperial Heaven sect. This can't help but make people suspect that the Imperial Heaven sect has a method to awaken bloodline heavenly runes. Chapter 2954. After Qin Yun learned of this news, his brows tightly furrowed. He previously instructed Yu Yuan not to spread this news. And now, several heaven-splitting sects knew about it, and they even gathered at the Imperial Heaven sect like a swarm of bees. After causing such a huge commotion, it would not be easy to quell it. Mr. Qin, are you at the Imperial Sky Gate? Long time no see, I missed you. Qin Yun received a message from Long Shu. She was now in the Imperial Gate. She was a disciple of the Dragon sect, and her status was not low either. She had bloodline heavenly patterns in her body. She probably did not come to the Imperial Gate to join in the fun. She must have come for a mission. Queen Long Shu, I am in Imperial Heaven sect but I have just returned. I still have some important matters to attend to. I will go to Dragon sect to find you another day. Qin Yun indeed has important matters to discuss with Yu Yuan. After Qin Yun replied to Long Shu, he received another message from Ming Yongtian. Boss, I didn't spread this news, and it shouldn't have been spread by the Imperial Heaven sect either. Ming Yongtian said, according to the information I've gathered, it seems like the ancient Heavenly Moon clan discovered it themselves and told the other heaven-splitting sects about it. Yongtian is in the Imperial Heaven Gate. Qin Yun helped him awaken his bloodline heavenly rune, so he is very concerned about this matter, and immediately rushed to the Imperial Heaven Gate. Brother Ming, if this matter spreads far and wide, what kind of impact will it have? Qin Yun asked. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that it's not something good. Ming Yongtian replied. Sway after that, Qin Yun received messages from Yu Song and Yu Lifan. They did not come to the Imperial Heaven Gate, but Yu Lifan told Qin Yun that this matter is rather serious and that he should be cautious. They had all signed a soul contract with Qin Yun, promising not to spread the news. Therefore, Qin Yun could eliminate them. Qin Yun originally suspected Yu Yuan because that big-mouth Yu Yuan previously bragged that Qin Yun is Shao Qihong's half-disciple. However, he had learned from Ming Yongtian that the ancient Heavenly Moon clan had discovered it themselves, so Yu Yuan's suspicions were greatly reduced. It was even more impossible for them to have signed a soul contract with the Ling family. Grand Elder Ling, Ling Taiyun and Ling Daixin all sent messages to Qin Yun, indicating that they did not reveal this matter. Yu Shangyu knows that Qin Yun can help her awaken bloodline heavenly rune, but she won't talk about it carelessly. Xiao Yuelan and Xiao Yueme also wouldn't say anything, so this matter might really be discovered by the ancient Heavenly Moon clan themselves, and then deliberately made the matter bigger, just to make the Imperial Heaven sect public. After Qin Yun returned, he immediately contacted Yu Yuan. Previously, Yu Yuan tried to contact Qin Yun many times, but Qin Yun was inside the Divine Sun, so he did not receive any messages. Sect Master, where are you? Qin Yun had just arrived at the Imperial Heaven Gates teleportation hall. I'm in your house. Hurry up and come over. This matter is getting out of hand. I need to discuss with you how to settle this matter. Yu Yuan's voice was very anxious. Qin Yun immediately returned to his residence. Yu Yuan is waiting for him at the entrance. See, when Qin Yun returned, Yu Yuan pulled Qin Yun and hastily entered the room. Sect Master, did you leak this matter? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, I told you to keep a low profile. Yuan said with a wronged expression, Little Qin, do you think I'm a blabbermouth? I even suspect that you are the one who leaked this matter. This way your business will be even better. What can be better than my business? I have always been very low profile, Qin Yun said in a bad mood. Low profile? According to my investigation, you have never been low profile in your entire life. Or is it that your understanding of low profile is very different from mine? Yu Yuan's eyes are filled with disdain. Qin Yun Qian's actions are very sensational, otherwise Yu Yuan and the others would not have been able to find out about it. All right, if it's not you or me, then who is it? Qin Yun still suspects that it is Yu Yuan. You helped so many people awaken Bloodline Heavenly Rune, is it possible that it is these people? Yu Yuan asked. It can't be them, they have all signed soul contract. Moreover, my soul contract is not that easy to break. Qin Yun shook his head and said, I heard that Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan discovered them. Yu Yuan sighed and said, It seems like it's my fault. I didn't properly hide these young people from Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan and caused them to be discovered. Dozens of young people from Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan suddenly appeared in Imperial Heaven Gate. Moreover, they have third-generation Bloodline Heavenly Rune inside their bodies. This matter is actually not that big of a deal. Qin Yun thought for a bit and said, It's just that it will be a bit troublesome for me in the future. Yu Yuan shook his head and said in a very solemn voice, Shao Qin, I originally chose some young people for you to help awaken, but now I have to stop. Why? Qin Yun hastily asked. He doesn't want to stop because he urgently needs a large amount of Divine Universe Goldstones. Anyway, I will settle this matter. Don't help Heaven Opening Ancient Clan people awaken Bloodline Heavenly Rune in the near future. Yu Yuan's expression is very solemn. With one look, it is clear that this matter is not simple. Qin Yun won't be satisfied until he knows the reason. He asked again, I think it's not a big deal. Helping a large number of Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan people awaken Bloodline Heavenly Rune should be a good thing. Moreover, all the Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan people should be able to afford the amount of Divine Universe Goldstones, right? As far as he is concerned, it will only be more troublesome for him in the future. Yu Yuan only shook his head and didn't say anything. Instead, he is about to leave. Sect Master, if you don't explain clearly, I won't cooperate with you. I need a large amount of Divine Universe Goldstones. I am not afraid of any trouble. Seeing Yu Yuan's reaction, Yun concluded that there must be something hidden behind it. Yu Yuan had just reached the door when he heard Qin Yun's words, so he quickly turned around. He sat down and said, I will tell the other Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan people that it was the power of the Myriad Realms' Divine Sun that suddenly descended and helped the youngsters of the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan awaken Bloodline Heavenly Rune. It doesn't matter if they believe it or not, I can deceive them. Previously, I want to mention that for a long time to come, there must not be a large number of Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan people suddenly awakening Bloodline Heavenly Rune. Then tell me why you can't awaken a large number of Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan people? Isn't that a good thing for the Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan? Qin Yun is puzzled. He asked, In my opinion, if your Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan has a large number of youngsters with Bloodline Heavenly Runes, you don't have to be afraid of the Outerverse. Yu Yuan said, In the Outerverse, many people with Bloodline Heavenly Runes appeared in our Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan, but their Bloodline Heavenly Runes are flawed. But there are very few Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan people with Bloodline Heavenly Runes in this cosmos. Do you know why? Yun squinted his eyes, took a deep breath and asked, Could it be that there is some power restricting your Heaven-Opening Ancient Clan? Yes, if too many disciples with bloodline heavenly runes appear, it will be a disaster for our heaven-opening ancient clan. Yu Yuan let out a long sigh. I only thought of this ancient legend after seeing the reactions of the various clans. I never expected it to be true. Chapter 2955. Hearing Yu Yuan's words, Qin Yun also sat down and calmly pondered. The bloodline heavenly pattern box has a small universe sealed inside it. The Heaven Creator ancient race used to have these bloodline heavenly pattern boxes. Later, because they have been affected by the bloodline heavenly pattern box for a long time, their bloodline has been infected by the bloodline heavenly pattern. This kind of bloodline heavenly pattern is closely related to the box. Extreme, it is very likely that the bloodline heavenly pattern box passed down its inheritance to the outside world's lifeforms, making them stronger and then helping them break the box's seal. It must be known that those bloodline heavenly pattern boxes are sealed by an extremely powerful and mysterious power to prevent the small universe from devouring the entire ancient universe. Qin Yun asked Yu Yuan if there are even stronger lifeforms in the depths of the universe. Yu Yuan did not hide anything and told Qin Yun that there are indeed stronger lifeforms. Moreover, they don't care about the safety of God Desolate because it is not their environment. Furthermore, that extremely powerful and mysterious race secretly helped the Heaven Creator ancient race, but it was rather limited. Back then, the Heaven Creator ancient race used the bloodline heavenly pattern box to create divine sun descendant. These divine sun descendants are extremely harmful to divine sons, making it difficult for them to grow into super powerful divine sons. Thinking in order to become a small universe, it must first become a super powerful nether sun and crazily devour it. If it is a small nether sun, after devouring to a certain stage, it will not be able to suppress the energy and explode. Small, the energy released by the nether sun will turn into all kinds of small divine suns in the cosmos, or turn into energy to form some celestial bodies like stars. Therefore, small nether suns are not very threatening. But super powerful nether suns are very threatening. After crazily devouring, they will form a small universe inside. Therefore, the existence of the Heaven Creator ancient race is most likely ordered by someone to suppress the growth of divine suns and not allow the appearance of super powerful nether suns. Seeing Qin Yun pondering, Yu Yuan can tell that Qin Yun realized that the Heaven Creator ancient race has many secrets. Little Qin, what the heaven-splitting ancient clan is doing is to protect this universe. This is very important to us. Other cosmos are not suitable for us to grow. Every cosmos has its own main race. But in their cosmos, they will be protected and we will not be able to defeat them. Moreover, our growth will be suppressed. Then why would the outerverse come to our universe? Qin Yun asked. Wouldn't our universe protect us? Even the 9 Yang Dharma spirit. Yu Yuan said, if we are the main group of this universe, we will definitely be protected. Let's put it this way. In this universe, in terms of strength, our group can only be considered to be in the middle. As for the extraterrestrials who have invaded from the 9 sun sacred ground, they are considered upper-class beings in their universe. That's why we're so powerless against them. Qin Yun naturally knew that the Empyrean divine wilderness had only recently appeared in this vast ancient universe. All you need to know is that the heaven-splitting ancient clan is restricted to the middle level. If we show any signs of advancing to the upper levels, we'll be suppressed or even exterminated. Yu Yuan said, the most important thing now is to resist the invasion of the alien lifeforms as much as possible, so that we can accumulate a solid foundation in the divine wilderness. In that case, you've always had the ambition to rise to the top? Qin Yun knew too little about the universe, but he could tell that on the path of strength, one had to break through all sorts of restrictions and face all sorts of tribulations. If a powerful race wanted to become stronger, it was the same. Of course we have to. The time is not ripe yet. Divine wilderness is very important to us, it will be our fortress. Wait until the 9 divine sons of myriad realms reach grand completion, then the time will be ripe. Yu Yuan said, don't go around talking about this matter. This is the reason why the heaven-splitting ancient clan is so insistent on divine wilderness. Maybe they went to the outerverse to find an unfettered environment to pursue a stronger peak. The myriad realms' divine sons have divine sun descendants. This will restrict the growth of the myriad realms' divine sons. If the divine sun descendants continue to exist, the myriad realms' divine sons will eventually perish. Qin Yun said. We'll talk about this later. We can control the divine sun descendants, but it's hard to say about the alien lifeforms. Yu Yuan patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said, from now on, don't help the heaven-splitting ancient clan awaken bloodline heavenly runes on a large scale. It will be very dangerous for you and for us. Then what about the heaven-splitting ancient clan? Can I help them awaken? Qin Yun asked. That's fine, but it's best if you don't make a big commotion. Yu Yuan said with smile. If you lack divine universe golden stones, you will have to think of another way. Qin Yun only has 10 billion divine universe golden stones. According to the speed at which the Divine King Heavenly Seal is consuming divine universe golden stones, it won't last long. What a headache! Qin Yun patted his head and leaned back on the chair. He raised his head and let out a long sigh. You just need to earnestly study the Yu Clan Heavenly Talisman. So long as you can make good Yu Clan Heavenly Talisman, you will get a lot of divine universe golden stones. Yu Yuan said with mischievous smile. You brat, you just helped me move that piece of divine universe black gold. How come you are so short of divine universe golden stones? What are you going to do with them? Qin Yun said with serious expression. I am a divine king, my divine universe golden stones are not only used on me. Don't tell me you are raising women? Yu Yuan said with smile. Sect Master, how did you find out about those divine universe metal mines? Qin Yun suddenly thought of a way to make money. He had wanted to learn it for a long time. Do you want to learn? Yu Yuan shook his head and said with a smile. It's not that I don't want to teach you, but the threshold is too high. You're still far from reaching it. Tell me. I don't need to do it myself, I can hire people. Qin Yun said with smile. My network is very wide. Yuan said, first you have to cultivate the soul divine universe. Then you have to have 60 points of spiritual force. This is the lowest standard. Mental universe power 60? Qin Yun was alarmed. You don't understand, do you? Looking at your appearance, I can tell that you have never heard of Soul God Universe and Mental Universe energy. This kind of thing is something that people in the 8th or 9th tier of the divine space realm start to come into contact with, so it's normal that you haven't heard of it. Yu Yuan waved his hand and said with a smile, so don't even think about exploring the Golden Stone Mine, you still can't do it. Qin Yun was astonished. Mental universe power was something that people at the 8th or 9th tier of the divine space realm had only just begun to come into contact with, yet he had managed to cultivate it so early. This was indeed thanks to the ability to devour heavenly rules and orthodoxies. Sect Master, in that case, you also don't know how to explore the Golden Stone Mine? Qin Yun asked. Of course, I am only at the 7th level of the divine space realm, I can't teach you. Yu Yuan spread his hands and said, all right, I will go send those guys away, you can comprehend the Yu Clan Heavenly Talisman in peace. Yu Yuan patted Qin Yun's shoulder and then left in a hurry. Qin Yun thought of Yu Lifan. He is a big boss of the 8th level of the divine space realm, maybe he knows a method to explore the divine universe Golden Stone Mine. Chapter 2956. Qin Yun could not help the heaven-opening ancient race awaken their bloodline heavenly runes, so this path of wealth was temporarily cut off. He could only find another path of wealth. If he had his own divine universe golden stone mine, he would be able to obtain a large amount of divine universe golden stones in a short period of time. Qin Yun's path of wealth was cut off, but the path of wealth was still there. However, it was not too stable, and there was still the possibility of unforeseen events occurring. For example, the law enforcement realm, Moon Season City and Heaven Secrets sect could give him a sum of divine universe golden stones every month, about 3 to 4 billion. In addition to the sale of elegant smoke, he could earn at least 5 billion divine universe golden stones every month. Before it was not destroyed by others, and the great divine lord was the biggest threat. This monthly income of several billion was not a small amount for many people, but it was far from enough for Qin Yun. Qin Yun took out the magic mirror to contact Ming Yongtian and asked him to investigate the market of elegant smoke. He felt that the Xiao Sa cigarette could become a great source of income. Currently, there were too few people who smoked the Xiao Sa cigarette. If there were enough people who smoked the Xiao Sa cigarette in the future, then he could expand the production of the Xiao Sa cigarette. It would not be a problem to earn 10 billion a month. Xiao sprinkling smoke was addictive. It was just that smoking it made people feel very relaxed and comfortable. It did not cause any harm. To the majority of living beings in Divine Desolate, the damage caused by elegant smoke was negligible. Xiao sprinkling smoke was mainly aimed at the soul. It allowed the soul to feel the greatest relaxation. If one inhaled a large amount, it would make the soul even more active and excited. Could it be that elegant smoke is too expensive, causing it to be unable to expand? If the cost could be reduced, then there would definitely be more people who would fall into the pit. Humans and beasts, as well as those powerful races that claim to be non-human, all like this kind of thing. Not only men, even women were infatuated with it. For example, Long Shu, the tree dragon, also liked to smoke elegant smoke. Also there was the Heavenly Fox race's Heavenly Fox Empress, who may. Her charming and alluring appearance while smoking was still fresh in Qin Yun's mind. Lower the price of high-grade elegant smoke to the lowest and slightly raise the price of top-grade and royal-grade elegant smoke. This way we can take care of people with different financial resources. Qin Yun told Ming Yongtian his thoughts. After Ming Yongtian heard this, he said, "Boss, I had the same thought before, but can the price of the elegant cigarettes continue to be lowered?" Ming Yongtian wasn't very clear about the manufacturing process of the light smoke, and he felt that the manufacturing process was quite difficult and required a lot of money. "It should be fine. I am currently lacking tobacco. If I can plant it in large quantities and have a good environment, then the cost will be even lower," Qin Yun said. Only there was tobacco, and the production process was done by automatic equipment. Qin Yun only needed to refine a few more automatic tools and find someone to watch over them from time to time. There was no need for anyone at all. Growing tobacco required a better environment and more professional personnel. "Boss, I'll go and investigate how low the price of the high-grade elegant cigarette can be in order for it to be accepted by more people," Ming Yongtian said. "Alright." After Yun broke off contact with Ming Yongtian, he immediately contacted Yu Li Fan and told him that he would be making a trip to Divine Moon in the next few days. Yu Li Fan welcomed Qin Yun very much. He told Qin Yun to go to Divine Moon of Heavens to find him at any time. Qin Yun was currently plotting his grand plan to get rich. He wanted to quickly raise his cultivation, so he needed a large amount of Divine Universe metal stones. The 10 billion Divine Universe metal stones in his hands were all used to replenish and recover his Divine Universe energy during battle, or to recover his mental universe energy. Qin Yun thought about it carefully, then took out the Devil Mirror to contact Nangong Shuiru. "Little sister Shuiru, how are you doing in Divine Moon of Heavens?" Qin Yun asked. Nangong Shuiru is in Divine Moon Clan, and Divine Moon Clan can enter Divine Moon of Heavens. Qin Yun already knew that Yu Shangyun used a lot of divine universe metal stones to plant medicinal plants and also to refine pills. Qin Yunyun's fourth divine son is very suitable for planting medicinal plants. People have already figured out a method to plant medicinal plants, they only need to use some formations to do so. Reportedly, only Divine Moon Clan can plant medicinal plants in large quantities in 4 divine sons. This method is supported by Granny Taiyue. Very good. With Granny Taiyue's help, we can now rely on ourselves to earn divine universe metal stones. Nangong Shueru's gentle voice arrived, she said with smile. Xiao Yun, our Divine Moon Clan mainly cultivates the 4 divine sons to earn divine universe golden stones. This is all thanks to your 4 divine sons. Yun was pulled into a mystic moon race group. He was the only man in the group. He rarely spoke, but he would check the contents of the group from time to time. He knew that the mystic moon race was developing well in the 4 godsons. There were also the divine court of myriad worlds, the 9 Yang divine palace, the 9 Yang royal family, the Purple Sun Elven clan, and the Ling family. Even the ancient city of the alien Void tribe was included in the 4 divine sons. Other than the 4 godsons, there was also the lesser sky godson, which was the Imperial Heaven pawnshop. It can be said that Qin Yun has a very good relationship with the 4 godson factions. Shui Ru, can you plant a lot of tobacco? It's the unfettered divine grass. Of course, I have even better seeds now. The ones I've planted are even better than the original unfettered divine grass. Qin Yun said. We have been planting unfettered divine grass. The main reason is that the Bright Moon sect wants to buy it from us. The Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan also sells tobacco. Nangong Shueru said. Xiao Yun, didn't you ask us to help you plant a large amount of tobacco? Could it be that it is not enough? Qin Yun indeed asked Nangong Shueru to help him plant a lot of tobacco. It is indeed not enough, I need a lot of tobacco. I will buy the tobacco from you. Qin Yun said. Don't talk about buying or not, we will help you plant tobacco. In any case, tobacco is very easy to grow inside the 4 godson, especially now that we have a very good formation. Nangong Shueru said with smile. I heard from Qingqing, Tianzi and the others that you are selling unfettered tobacco. It is a big business. It is a big business, so even if I pay you, I will still make a lot of profit. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Don't talk about payment, Sister Shangyun will not take it. I will immediately talk to Sister Shangyun. There are still a lot of empty land inside the 4 godson, we can use it to plant tobacco. Nangong Shueru said. My little sister Shueru is really good, thank you very much. Qin Yun promptly thanked Nangong Shueru with smile. Now that the tobacco problem has been solved, he feels a lot more at ease. Nangong Shueru lightly laughed a few times, then cut off the communication. She immediately went to plan how to plant tobacco for Qin Yun. Qin Yun bid farewell to Yu Yuan and then immediately left the Imperial Heaven sect. He left as soon as he returned because of an unexpected situation that cut off his source of wealth. Qin Yun is not in a hurry to go to Divine Moon, instead he went to Heaven surmounting Divine City. Ling Heavenly God City has become Qin Yun's contact point. It is mainly used to meet with Law Enforcement Realm King, Xian Shazi and others. Deaconlo Realm King and Xian Shazi quickly arrived at Heaven surmounting Divine City and met in a secret manner. Chapter 2957. Yu Xieji had already been killed by Qin Yun, and not many people knew about it. Even the ancient Heavenly Moon Clan and Yu Shangyun did not know about it. Yu Xieji had once colluded with the Heaven's Secrets sect master to harm Qin Yun and the Divine Moon Clan. However, because Yu Xieji was once a Dharma spirit, she had a high status in the ancient Heavenly Moon Clan. Even Granny Taiyue couldn't let Yu Xieji receive any punishment. In the end, even Yu Shangyun could only let this matter go. Therefore, after Qin Yun killed Yu Xieji, he kept this matter a secret. Munyua Xieji's Moon Season City was built by Yu Xieji herself. She had borrowed the resources of the ancient Heavenly Moon Clan and the Heavenly Court behind the Great Divine Lord to build it. Now, this city was secretly taken over by Xian Shazi's Heaven's secret sect. Previously, when Qin Yun fought with the Great Divine Lord, it caused him to lose the Divine King Heavenly Seal. He was afraid that the Great Divine Lord would borrow resources from Yu Xieji and the Heaven Secrets sect leader. At that time, he would discover that the Heaven Secrets sect leader and Yu Xieji had been killed. Thus, he had to discuss a response plan with the Enforcement World King and Black Killer Child ahead of time. Lingyan, the secret manor of the Heavenly God City, the Law Enforcement Realm King and Xian Shazi learned that Qin Yun had once again fought with the Great Divine Lord. Furthermore, he had the upper hand, causing the Great Divine Lord to lose the Divine King Heavenly Seal. This made them feel even more reverence towards Qin Yun. Black Killer, who is in charge of Moon Season City now? Qin Yun asked. It was Chu Wuxing, but he did not personally oversee the city. He let Yu Yen, Sky Sharp, and Sky Jade manage Moon Season City. On the surface, Yu Yen is in charge, but Tian Rui and Tian Yu are hiding in the dark. Xian Shazi said. Before, Yu Xieji only used women. Yu Yen is a woman, so having her stand in front of the stage will not arouse any suspicions, the Law Enforcement World King said. Qin Yun nodded and said, Then tell Yu Yen that if Great Divine Lord sends someone to look for her, she must immediately inform us. Then we can discuss our countermeasures. The Great Divine Lord will definitely come to find the Heaven Secrets sect. At that time, how are we going to deal with him? Xian Shazi frowned. Although the Great Divine Lord doesn't have the Divine King Heavenly Seal anymore, he's not easy to deal with. Yun said, When the time comes, get rid of him. No matter what he wants, temporarily agree to it, and let him give you time to prepare. During this period of time, I will get rid of him. The Law Enforcement Realm King and Xian Shazi were alarmed. Qin Yun actually wanted to finish off the Great Divine Lord. Boss, the Great Divine Lord is now an outstanding disciple of the Heavenly Sun sect of the Yang Ancient Clan. You must be careful when you make a move, Xian Shazi warned. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. How is the Heavenly Secrets sect doing? Did undercover assassin of Heaven Secrets discover that the Heaven Secrets sect master was killed? Said Qin Yun with a smile. There weren't many spies who had seen the Heaven Secrets gate master before. Many of them weren't even seen by the elders, and now, all the elders and heavenly venerables of the Heaven Secrets Gate had been taken care of. Meanwhile, the Heaven Secrets Gate is still operating. Currently, it's all under my orders. Black Killer said with a smile. Very good. Qin Yun nodded and said, During this period of time, go and gather information on the Sun Yin Divine Race. The Heaven Secrets Gate and the Law Enforcement Realm will join hands and snatch the Sun Yin Divine Race. I urgently need Divine Universe Golden Stones. The Law Enforcement Realm King said. The Great Divine Lord is also behind the Sun Yin Divine Race. If Boss can kill the Great Divine Lord, then we can definitely take down the Sun Yin Divine Race very smoothly. After killing the Sun Yin Divine Race, I want to take control of the Heavenly Court. At that time, the heavens will be controlled by the Heaven Secrets Gate and the Law Enforcement Realm together. Qin Yun said, If we succeed, this matter must be kept a secret. Xian Shazi and the Law Enforcement Realm King looked at each other and promptly nodded. If Qin Yun could successfully kill the Great Divine Lord, then taking over the Heavenly Court would definitely not be a problem. The Heavens Divine Desolate currently needed order. The Heavenly Court controlled by the Great Divine Lord and the Sun Yin Divine Race protected by the Great Divine Lord are the source of chaos. Furthermore, they are Qin Yun's formidable enemies. Follow after that, Xian Shazi and the Law Enforcement Realm King each gave Qin Yun 1.5 billion Divine Universe Golden Stones, a total of 3 billion. Then just as Qin Yun was planning to go to the divine moon of the heavens, Xian Shazi suddenly took out the magic mirror and received an urgent message. Xian, after receiving it, he said with a serious expression, "Boss, the great divine lord has indeed sent someone to Moon Season City. Now, that person is waiting for Yu Xieji in Moon Season City. Furthermore, his temper is very bad. He said that he wants to see Yu Xieji within 3 days. Otherwise, the great divine lord will destroy the entire Moon Season City. This great divine lord really doesn't put Yu Xieji in his eyes," Qin Yun said with a sneer. "The great divine lord will come to find the Heaven Secrets Gate very soon, but he should not know how to go there." The Law Enforcement Realm King said, "Let's deal with Moon Season City first." Qin Yun said, "I can't kill the great divine lord immediately because I'm not prepared enough. I can only fool him first." "Boss, what do you plan to do?" "The guy sent by the great divine lord is not easy to fool. We must have Yu Xieji appear, otherwise the great divine lord will really destroy Moon Season City," Xian Shazi said. If the great divine lord made a move against Moon Season City, then the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan would not sit idly by. Once they intervened, they would discover that Yu Xieji had already been killed, and they might even know that the Heaven Secrets Gate was secretly controlled by someone else. "Leave it to me. You guys can go back to your own business," Qin Yun said. Xian Shazi and the Law Enforcement Realm King left with ease because if Qin Yun said that he could solve it, then he definitely could. Right now, they did not dare to question Qin Yun's ability. Qin Yun took out the magic mirror and contacted Xiao Yueme and Xiao Yuelan. He asked them if they had the time to come to heaven-piercing Divine City. They did not want to come and said that they wanted to cultivate seriously. However, when they heard Qin Yun say that he wanted them to help him deceive people, they immediately became excited. They told Qin Yun to wait for them in heaven-piercing Divine City, and they would immediately go there. "Come here quietly. Remember, don't tell Big Sister Shang Yun," Qin Yun warned. "Don't let Big Sister Shang Yun know that you are here to find me." Doing something behind Sister Shang Yun's back must be very exciting. Xiao Yuelan laughed. "Brother, what kind of big matter is it that requires our heaven-severing twin evils to take action?" Xiao Yuelan's charming laughter came from the magic mirror. She could not wait to know what kind of operation it is. Heaven-severing twin evils? Who came up with this damned name? Qin Yun asked in disgust. "Do you have any objections?" Xiao Yuelan said. "No, actually it's fine," Qin Yun said with a smile. "You guys hurry up and come over." Xiao Yuelan and Xiao Yueme can't come over immediately because they are inside the moon's heart. If they want to come out, they will need some time, but it won't be too long. Qin Yun is waiting for them in heaven-piercing Divine City. After half a day, she found out that they are already at Divine Moon's teleportation formation and will be teleported to heaven-piercing Divine City soon. Xiao Yuelan also said that she will bring Yu Shaoling, the fairy, along. Chapter 2958. Qin Yun did not object to Yu Shaoling coming because Yu Shaoling is Xiao Yuelan's origin spirit. It can be said that she and Xiao Yuelan are inseparable. Xiao Yuelan also asked Qin Yun if he did not want too many people to know, she could hide Xiao Yuelan inside her 9 divine spirit. Qin Yun has not seen Yu Shaoling for a long time. After all, she is also his woman. Knowing that she wants to come, he naturally will not object. Xiao Yuelan, Xiao Yueme and Yu Shaoling are 3 beauties with different temperament. If they were to travel together, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. Therefore, when they came, they dressed up so that they would not be so conspicuous. Qin Yun sent his location to a secret manor in heaven-reaching Divine City and waited for them to come over. Not long after, the 3 women arrived at the entrance of the manor. After Qin Yun opened the door, he saw 3 people wearing conical bamboo hats, gray robes and black masks. "Are we being followed?" Qin Yun asked in low voice. Are we that easy to be followed? Xiao Yuelon said with smile. Qin Yun and the others entered a small hall. They took off their conical bamboo hats and masks. 3 different but very beautiful faces appeared in front of Qin Yun. Moon Shaoling, the charming blonde-haired and blue-eyed fairy, walked towards Qin Yun with a smile, then reached out her hand and pinched Qin Yun's cheek. My Xiao Yun, you have lost weight, Yu Shaoling said with charming smile. Qin Yun stroked her long golden hair and said with smile, Xiao Ling, you have gained a lot of weight. Xiao Yuemei sat down and crossed her legs. Then she took out many fruits and placed them on the table. Brother, quickly come and eat the fruit. I got these from the Xiao ancient clan. Yulan, Yumei, aren't you in the Xiao ancient clan? Why did you go to the moon core of the heavenly divine moon? That is the territory of the heavenly moon ancient clan. Qin Yun kissed Yu Xiaoling's face, then walked over to Xiao Yuemei and picked up a fruit to eat. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. We are also from the Divine Moon Clan, so we can go back and forth between the Xiao Ancient Clan and the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan and eat 2 portions of resources. This is allowed by Granny Taiyue and Granny Xiaohong. We are 9 Sun Divine Maiden, they think very highly of us. If we want, maybe we can go to the Yang Ancient Clan and eat another portion of resources, Xiao Yuemei said with smile. You are truly quick-witted. Qin Yun extended his hand and pinched Xiao Yuemei's face. Little hubby, why did you call us here? We just entered the Moon Heart not long ago and now we ran out again. If we go back, Granny Taiyue will definitely be unhappy, Xiao Yuelon hurriedly asked. Ben the sisters did not want to come, but when they heard that Qin Yun wanted to bring them to swindle people, they recalled the experience of following Qin Yun everywhere to swindle people. They felt nostalgic. Xiao Yemei is eating the fruit. Her beautiful and adorable big eyes are staring at Qin Yun, seemingly urging him to speak quickly. Qin Yun was not in a hurry. He slowly ate the fruit, causing Xiao Yuelon to pout coquettishly and poke his waist. This is a secret. Don't tell big sister Shang Yun. I'm afraid she'll be angry if she hears it. Qin Yun finished eating the fruit and said seriously. Got it, we're not the kind of people who can't keep secrets. Xiao Yuemei curled her lips and said, Brother, could it be that you did something to make big sister Shang Yun angry and want us to help you deceive her? You want us to take care of her? Qin Yun smiled and nodded Xiao Yuemei's head. Yuemei, you can really think. Then why don't you guess what made big sister Shang Yun angry? Did you steal her underwear? Xiao Yuelon asked with a smile. Qin Yun speechlessly rolled his eyes and said, Yu Xieji was killed by me. Of course, she is not completely dead. Her soul is still here, but all the memories and consciousness inside her soul have been erased by me. Xiao Yuemei is very shocked, her small mouth and eyes are wide open. Yu Xieji. You can't kill her. Xiao Yuelon is also very shocked, but soon after, she lightly laughed and said, If you kill her, then kill her. I wanted to kill this damned old granny for a long time. Little hubby, you did beautifully. Wait, why can't I kill Yu Xieji? Qin Yun mischievously laughed and said, I didn't kill her. Her soul is still with me, so she can't be considered dead, right? Yu Xieji used to be the moon's magic spirit. Her existence is very important to the heaven's divine moon. Let's say it like this, the heaven's divine moon's magic spirit is still very small and listens to Yu Xieji. Xiao Yuelon picked up a fruit from the table, took a bite and continued. Yu Xieji is equivalent to that little magic spirit's wet nurse. Qin Yun is very amazed, he said with frown. Yu Xieji can be considered dead now, does little magic spirit know? He finally understands why Yu Xieji is valued by the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan. Even Yu Shangyun did not continue to pursue Yu Xieji and was appeased by Granny Taiyue. Little magic spirit is only bewitched by Yu Xieji. Leave this to us, we will think of a way to let little magic spirit know Yu Xieji's true identity. Xiao Yuelon said. As long as Yu Xieji's soul is not destroyed, little magic spirit won't be able to sense anything. At most, it will think that Yu Xieji is missing or something. We can use this time to guide little magic spirit. Xiao Yuelon said. Yu Xieji is such a vicious person. If she raises little magic spirit, another Yu Xieji will definitely appear in heaven's divine moon. Xiao Ling lightly groaned and said, Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan doesn't know what kind of person Yu Xieji is? They actually let Yu Xieji guide heaven's divine moon's little magic spirit to grow up. Yu Xieji must have used some kind of method to control the immature little magic spirit. Now Yu Xieji has been captured by Xiao Yun. That's very good. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. If little magic spirit is raised by our divine moon clan, then heaven's divine moon will be decided by us in the future. Qin Yun shook his head and said, I talked to Sister Shangyun before. Divine Moon Clan wants to have your own divine moon. The relationship behind the current heaven's divine moon is too complicated. There is Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan and 9 Sun Magic Spirit. This divine moon cannot completely belong to you. Creating a powerful divine moon is easy to say, but it is not that easy to accomplish. Xiao Yuelon lightly sighed and said, Let's talk about this later. No matter what, we must take this opportunity to let little magic spirit get close to us. Qin Yun nodded and said, Then you must be a bit more attentive. I don't know how 9 Sun Magic Spirit grew up to become like this. Brother, then why did you ask us to come here? Is it related to Yu Xieji? Xiao Yuemei asked. It's like this, I secretly took over Yu Xieji's Moon Season City. This city is very big and it has just been developed. Every month, I can earn 1 billion Divine Universe Golden Stones. Now Great Divine King has sent people to find Yu Xieji, so I want you to help me come up with some ideas to deceive those people. Qin Yun said with smile. Xiao Yuemei's transformation technique is very formidable. She can transform into Yu Xieji's appearance to deceive people. Chapter 2959. Not many people knew about the battle between Qin Yun and the Great Divine Lord. If this matter were to spread, it would definitely cause quite a commotion. Even the seniors of the Heaven-Splitting Clan would pay close attention to it. In the eyes of the older generation of the Heaven-Splitting Ancient Clan, the God Kings of the Divine Wilderness were still very weak. They would not be able to achieve anything in a short period of time. Furthermore, they did not seem to be under the care of the 9 Yang Dharma Spirit. And after that, Qin Yun's performance in the 9 Sun Sacred Ground, where he helped to move the huge piece of Divine Universe black gold, made the seniors realize that a godly monarch actually had a certain level of strength. Ruoit was the great Divine Lord and Qin Yun who were fighting outside the 6th Divine Sunday. Furthermore, it was planned by the 9 Yang Law Spirit. If the seniors knew of this, they would definitely look at the 2 Divine Kings in a new light. Qin Yun told Xiao Yuelon and the other 2 about her trip to the 6th Divine Sunday. After they heard this, they were rather worried. They were afraid that Qin Yun would be implicated again. Xiao Yuelon and Xiao Yuemei are both 9 Sun Divine Maidens. They are very clear about 9 Sun Law Spirits' situation. Although they can always obtain the protection of 9 Sun Law Spirit, Qin Yun is not necessarily the same. He might even be in danger. The Great Divine Lord did not have the Divine King Heavenly Seal, but he had a celestial cosmic Divine Sun Heart. His potential was immense. Now that he has the support of the Yang Ancient Clan, he will definitely grow quickly in the future. I have to get rid of him as soon as possible, Qin Yun said. He is going to find Yu Xieji now. If he can't find her, he will definitely be suspicious. Yuemei, you've seen Yu Xieji, right? It shouldn't be difficult to change into her appearance. Xiao Yuelon smiled and said, You do it, I don't want to become an old woman. Xiao Yuemei is actually quite willing. This is not only to help Qin Yun, but also to deceive the Great Divine King. This is very exciting for her. She closed her eyes and thought for a while. Then, her body was enveloped by white light. Soon, she turned into Yu Xieji's appearance. How about it? Do I look like him? Xiao Yuemei's voice also became the same as Yu Xieji's. She said, I met Yu Xieji before and even cursed her. I recorded her voice. Yuemei's voice is also exactly the same, only her tone and aura are different. But this can be learned, it is not difficult for Xiao Yuemei. The Great Divine Lord should have her magic mirror, but the Great Divine Lord did not contact her. When the time comes, the people sent by the Great Divine Lord will definitely ask about this matter. Qin Yun nodded in satisfaction. I can handle it. When the time comes, you can just hide and watch my performance. Xiao Yuemei said with smile, and then changed back to her original appearance. Qin Yun took out a magic mirror and gave it to Xiao Yuemei so that she can use it to contact the people sent by the Great Divine King. After that, he contacted Yu Yan again and asked about the situation at Moon Season City to find out who the Great Divine Lord had sent. Yu Yan did not know that person's exact identity. He only said that he was very strong, and judging from his aura, his status was not low, and he had the order badge given to him by the Great Divine Lord. Great Divine Lord must have something urgent to do to send a person with a very high status. He couldn't contact Yu Xieji with the magic mirror, so he could only send someone over. Such as if it was an ordinary person, Yu Xieji might not even go to meet him. She might even ignore him. In other words, the person sent by the Great Divine Lord was definitely someone that Yu Xieji knew. This person by the Great Divine Lord's side should have a similar status as Yu Xieji, or even higher. In beside the Great Divine Lord, there was only one person with a higher status than Yu Xieji, and who dared to say that he wanted to destroy Moon Season City, and that was the Emperor of the Sun Moon tribe, the Flatterer. The Emperor of the Yin tribe was very good at flattering the Great Divine Lord, and the Great Divine Lord also liked this. Furthermore, the Emperor of the Sun Moon tribe was the disciple of the Great Divine Lord. Qin, based on the clues provided by Yu Yan, Yun deduced who the Great Divine Lord had sent. What he found strange was, why did the Emperor of the Sun Moon tribe hide his identity? Yuemei, the guy sent by the Great Divine Lord, might be the Emperor of the Sun Moon tribe. This guy should be quite familiar with Yu Xieji. Don't give yourself away when the time comes. Qin Yun warned. If it's the Emperor of the Sun Moon tribe, then should we set up a trap and swindle some divine universe golden stones from his hands? The Sun Moon divine race is backed by the Heavenly Court and can be said to be one of the great powers of the Heavenly Court. Xiao Yuelon laughed. Qin, after being reminded by Xiao Yuelon, Yun also had the same thought. He wanted to extract a sum of divine universe golden stones from the Emperor of the Sun Moon tribe and then think of a way to get rid of him after he returned. Qin Yun had previously arranged for the Law Enforcement Realm King and Xian Shazi to think of a way to snatch a sum of divine universe golden stones from the Sun Moon divine race. Now, the Great Divine Lord cannot mobilize many powers, and the Sun Moon divine race is one of them. Therefore, the Great Divine Lord will definitely give the Sun Moon divine race a lot of power and let them exchange a large amount of resources from the Divine Desolate. I'm not good at this. Xiao Yuemei laughed and said, Brother, how about I turn you into a girl and then become Yu Xieji's disciple? When the time comes, you and elder sister will be by my side. No, I won't become a woman. Qin Yun felt very awkward just thinking about it. But if I want to successfully trick the Emperor of the Sun Moon tribe and make him take out the Divine Universe Golden Stones, I can't do it. Xiao Yuemei mumbled. Isn't it just becoming a girl? It's just for a while, it's not like I want you to change for a lifetime. Xiao Ling laughed and said, Little husband, if everything goes smoothly, you can get a lot of Divine Universe Golden Stones. Go ahead. Xiao Yuelon pinched Qin Yun's arm and said with smile, I really want to see little husband turn into a girl. Go away, you are deliberately making fun of me. Qin Yun scolded with smile, Don't think of making fun of me. He stretched out his hand and gently pinched Xiao Yamei's charming little face, and said with smile, "Just turn me into an old man, I will pretend to be a very high-level inscription master." What disciple? How much ability can Yu Xieji's disciple have? What kind of person can you trick? You have been swindling me for so many years, why haven't you learned the essence of it? Qin Yun knows that this little girl Xiao Yuemei always wants to turn him into a girl, mainly because it's fun. Xiao Yuelan clearly knows, but she is still making a ruckus. Xiao Yun, how strong is the Sun Moon Emperor? If this guy sees through us, we will have to use forceful methods. Xiao Yuelan clenched her fists and said, "The Sun Moon Emperor won't be too strong. He should be about the same level as the Law Enforcement Realm King, Heaven's Secret Sect Master and others. If the three of us join hands, we will definitely be able to capture him." Qin Yun said. He is actually afraid that the Sun Moon Emperor will run away, so he has never thought of capturing the Sun Moon Emperor. The Sun Moon Emperor has been able to survive until now. He must have some strength. Moreover, he is a person with Heavenly Rune bloodline. The Sun Moon bloodline Heavenly Rune inside his body is very powerful. Furthermore, the Sun Moon Divine race needs the power of Divine Moon. Originally, joining the Heavenly Moon sect of the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan would be the best option for them, but because they have some grudges with the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan, they decided to join the Sun Ancient Clan. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei discussed the details of their trip to Moon Season City. The Sun Moon Emperor has given them 3 days, so they have plenty of time. Chapter 2960. Qin Yun wanted to discuss with them how to deal with sudden situations. If they were discovered by the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, they had to do it. They could not let the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor escape, and they could not let the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor leak any information. Xiao Yuelan and Xiao Yuemei are both 9 Sun Divine Maidens. Their cultivation is not low. They are both 3rd-level Divine Space Realm with more than 3,000 Divine Space Power. What surprised Qin Yun was that they had already cultivated 108 Divine Universe Golden Tendons. In the future, they could enter the Myriad Realms Divine Sun and strengthen themselves. Their speed would be very fast and they wouldn't need any resources. This made Qin Yun very envious. One had to know that in order to refine the Divine Universe Golden Tendons and strengthen it, he had expended a lot of Divine Universe Golden Rock. The cultivation of the 9 Suns Goddess was indeed very smooth. Furthermore, they were valued by the heaven-splitting ancient clan. For example, the 2 sisters, Xiao Yuelan and Xiao Yuemei, are very sneaky, running to both sides and eating 2 sets of resources. Sun Moon Tribe's great emperor should still be in Moon Season City. We will secretly go to Moon Season City and arrange the meeting place. Won't that be enough? Xiao Yuemei said with smile. Qin Yun shook his head and said, "The Sun Moon Tribe's emperor is not stupid. He came to Moon Season City in a secretive manner and did not reveal his identity. This shows that he is very cautious. This not only is this guy a bootlicker, but he also likes to show off, especially when it comes to his status. However, he didn't show it in front of Yu Yan, which means he's very cautious." In other words, the meeting place was arranged by the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor? Yu Xiaoling's expression revealed worry and said, "Could it be that Great Divine Lord told him to ambush Yu Xieji, or could it be that Great Divine Lord knows that something has happened to Yu Xieji? That's why they sent the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor here?" Qin Yun nodded and said, "It's very likely that he suspects it, but he can't be certain. Yu Xieji is often in the ancient Heavenly Moon clan. Now that we can't contact her using the demonic mirror, the Great Divine Lord will definitely not be able to confirm Yu Xieji's condition. Brother, should I go to the ancient Heavenly Moon clan after I become Yu Xieji? If the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan sees that Yu Xieji has not appeared for a long time, they will definitely be suspicious." Xiao Yuemei said, "Alright, if you have time, transform into Yu Xieji and walk around." Qin Yun said, Moon Xieji had a very important task in the ancient Heavenly Moon clan. She was in charge of guiding the little Dharma spirits of the divine moon of the heavens to grow. Such as if she wasn't in the divine moons for a period of time, the ancient Heavenly Moon clan would definitely look for her. Let's go to Moon Season City first. If the Emperor of Sun Moon Tribe senses anything, we will act according to what we discussed just now. Qin Yun said. Moon Shaoling's cultivation is the same as Xiao Yuelan's. With their strength, they can definitely suppress the Sun Moon Emperor. Therefore, Qin Yun is not too worried. Qin, after contacting Yun told her to look for the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor and ask him where to meet. While Yen contacted the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan entered the heaven-towering Divine City's teleportation array and teleported to Moon Season City. When they reached Moon City, Yen told Qin Yun that the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor wanted to meet them at the Heavenly Court Pavilion. The Heavenly Court's Pavilion was the Heavenly Court's branch in Moon Season City. There was a teleportation array here that led to the Heavenly Court's city. The Heavenly Court's Pavilion also had the Heavenly Court's metal and stone shop, as well as the Heavenly Court's elixirs, the unfettered smoke, and many other things. The Heavenly Court Pavilion could be considered an important property of the Heavenly Court. It was located in the best location in Moon Season City. Only any city that had a cooperative relationship with the Heavenly Court would have a Heavenly Court city, and its location would be the best. Because the Great Divine Lord was extremely domineering, the Heavenly Court Pavilion did not need to pay rent to those cities. It was equivalent to them occupying the best location in those cities. Just even the heaven-towering Divine City had a Heavenly Court Pavilion. Fortunately, the Ling family was quite powerful now, so they did not give the Heavenly Court Pavilion the best location. However, the heaven-towering Divine City still could not collect rent from the Heavenly Court Pavilion. The Een God tribe previously had their own metal and stone shop, which was later merged into the Heavenly Court. This meant that the Sun Moon tribe's emperor had obtained a very high position in the Heavenly Court, equivalent to the second in command. The Great Divine Lord rarely took care of the Heavenly Court and left it to his subordinates to do. The Sun Moon tribe's emperor had knelt before the Great Divine Lord for many years and was deeply loved by the Great Divine Lord. The Great Divine Lord also handed the Heavenly Court over to the Sun Moon tribe's emperor with ease. This was all told to Qin Yun by Yen. Yen is now a spy with a very high position in the Heavenly Secrets sect. She can directly obtain a lot of information from the Heavenly Secrets sect and can also secretly send the spy to spy on information. As I expected, the meeting place was decided by the Sun Moon tribe's emperor. It's at that Heavenly Court Pavilion, Qin Yun said. Let's go directly to the Heavenly Court Pavilion. Xiao Yuemei and Qin Yun are in a large carriage. Xiao Yuelan and Yu Shaoling have been transformed into two ordinary-looking middle-aged women. Xiao Yuemei changed into a set of long robes and then transformed into Yu Xieji's old appearance. Then, she transformed Qin Yun into a robust old man. Qin Yun is wearing an inscription master robe and dressed up to look like an old man who lived in seclusion. Xiao Yuemei's expression turned cold. Her eyes are like a fierce wolf's. When she stared at people, it caused their hair to stand on end. Furthermore, the aura of divine universe power released from her body is very strong. That kind of aura also came from the divine moon of the heavens. She held a long staff with a demonic red moon floating at the top, emitting a faint evil aura. The Heavenly Court Pavilion is a tall building. This tall building is excessively built in a very large manor. The entire manor belongs to the Heavenly Court Pavilion, and it occupies the best and largest area in the middle of Moon Season City. That manor wasted a lot of precious land. After Qin Yun used his heavenly eye clone to look at it from the sky, he felt very puzzled. Why would Yu Xieji be willing to suffer such a loss? Normally, Yu Xieji should not be afraid of the great divine king. Her moon season city has a heavenly court pavilion. It is very likely that she will be completely eaten by the great divine king. This caused Qin Yun to immediately think of something. Maybe Yu Xieji has something on her in the hands of the great divine king. Great the carriage arrived at the entrance of the heavenly court pavilion. Yu Yan is already waiting for Qin Yun. Qin Yun had already contacted her before. If he saw Yu Xieji, an old man and two women, he must not be surprised because that was arranged by him. Xiao Yan, it's me. Qin Yun glanced at Yu Yan and secretly transmitted his voice to her. Yu Yan is at the entrance of the heavenly court pavilion manor. When she saw Qin Yun and Yu Xieji walk down, she is immediately shocked. However, she knew that Yu Xieji was killed by Qin Yun and now she has appeared again. Greetings, great sovereign. Yu Yan promptly saluted. She still can't figure out what is going on with the sudden appearance of Yu Xieji. She thought that she was enslaved by Qin Yun. Yu Xieji is the law enforcement great sovereign of the law enforcement realm. She is an important figure in the Heaven's Secret sect and is usually addressed as great sovereign. And Xiao Yueme has a cold and arrogant attitude. She indifferently responded and then walked towards the luxurious building in the middle of the manor. Chain Xiao Yuelan, who has become a middle-aged woman, looked at Yu Yan a few times. In her opinion, Yu Yan is a pretty good beauty. Chapter 2961. Xiao Yueme is walking in the front. Her aura is very strong. This is mainly because her divine cosmos power is not weak. Qin Yun, Xiao Yuelan and the others are following behind her. Qin Yun is very conspicuous because he is a man. Even though he is a tall and strong old man, he is still surrounded by women. Heavens! After the guards at the entrance of the heavenly court pavilion saw Yu Xieji arrive, their expression became very nervous because the aura Xiao Yueme is releasing is very oppressive. Not long after, the entire heavenly court pavilion knows that Yu Xieji has arrived. After all, she is the boss of Moon Season City and her position is very high, so the people of Heavenly Court Pavilion are very afraid of her. Also Qin Yun and the others do not know that Yu Xieji once killed people in Heavenly Court Pavilion. Just because someone looked at her with a strange expression, she started a massacre. Moreover, it was a very cruel and sadistic killing. Yu Yan was aware of this matter. She immediately sent a voice transmission to inform Qin Yun. Qin Yun also immediately informed Xiao Yueme, Xiao Yuelan and Yu Shaoling about this matter. Xiao Yueme knows that Yu Xieji is a very cruel person. She immediately got into character. Her eyes are filled with biting cold killing intent as she stared at the guards. Xiao Yuelan took a step forward and coldly rebuked the guard. Why are you not saluting after seeing Great Senior? Are you courting death? The two guards at the entrance trembled. They knelt down in fear and saluted. Yu Xieji, don't put on airs in front of me, is this necessary? Last time you killed people here, could it be that you are not satisfied? The voice came, it is indeed the Sun Moon Emperor's voice. If I can kill everyone in this damned Heavenly Court Pavilion, it will be very satisfying. Xiao Yueme yelled, Sun Moon Emperor, if you dare to threaten to destroy my Moon Season City again, don't blame me for being impolite. While speaking, Xiao Yueme and Qin Yun have already entered the first-floor lobby of Heavenly Court Pavilion. Enter after arriving, there is a middle-aged man who is hunching his body. His face is filled with fear and he promptly brought Xiao Yueme and others to a luxurious reception hall. Yu Xieji, who is that old man? Is he one of your people? What I want to discuss with you is very important. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was in the luxurious hall, wearing a scary black mask as he stared at Qin Yun. As the Yin tribe's emperor spoke, he waved his hand to close the door of the hall. Qin Yun also opened his heavenly eye and released his mental power to probe the surroundings to see if there were any trap. He is the personal inscription master I just found. Do you think he can be trusted? Xiao Yueme said with sneer. Sun En Tribe's Emperor, if you have something to say, quickly say it. If it is some bullshit matter, I will destroy this heavenly court pavilion. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said coldly, Why can't I contact you through the demonic mirror? Also, you're not in the divine moon of the heavens. My master has something important to talk to you about, but he can't find you. He's very angry. My magic mirror is broken. Xiao Yuemei took out a new magic mirror and said, Great Divine Lord is definitely not looking for me for anything good. It's good that he can't find me. Yu Xieji, my master wants me to remind you that if you don't cooperate with him, don't blame him for not giving you face. The Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor seems to be threatening Xiao Yuemei. Qin Yun immediately sent sound transmission to Xiao Yuemei, telling her that Yu Xieji might have some secret in the hands of the great Divine Lord. After Xiao Yuemei heard this, she immediately retracted her aura. The Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor saw that Yu Xieji in front of him has been suppressed and he laughed sinisterly. What matter does the great Divine Lord have with me? Quickly say it. Xiao Yuemei pretended to be very angry. She vigorously slammed the table and smashed it into pieces. Within 3 months, gather 100 billion divine universe golden stones for my master. The Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor said slowly. Xiao Yuemei pretended to be very angry and said in deep voice, What if I don't? If you don't, there will be 3 consequences. We will suppress you, we will destroy this moon season city. My master said that we will also leak out your secret. Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor proudly laughed sinisterly. Master wants me to remind you that if your secret is leaked out, you will definitely not be able to stay in the heavens' divine moon. The heavenly moon ancient clan will definitely hunt you down. Qin Yun and the others are very shocked. This Yu Xieji must have done very vicious things before, and she even did it to the heavenly moon ancient clan people. Qin Yun carefully thought about it and suddenly felt that this should be normal. After all, Yu Xieji is originally an evil law spirit incarnation. Inside the heaven's divine moon, it is impossible for her to be well behaved. Does the great divine Lord really want 100 billion? Maybe he only wants 10 billion, but you said 100 billion. Xiao Yuemei deliberately pretended to have a good attitude. 2. En Clan's Emperor took out a magic mirror, contacted the great divine Lord and said, Master, Yu Xieji has appeared. Great Divine Lord, why do you suddenly want 100 billion divine universe golden stones? Xiao Yuemei asked. I thought you were dead. The things you did in the heavens divine moon are enough for the heavenly moon ancient clan to hang you up and torture you to death. The great divine Lord laughed loudly and said, Yu Xieji, it's good that you are fine now. Quickly get me 100 billion divine universe golden stones, I urgently need it. As for what I want to do with it, it has nothing to do with you. Although Xiao Yuemei is only pretending to be Yu Xieji, she is currently very angry. Therefore, her current reaction seems to be real. Although she is angry, she doesn't dare to say anything. This made the great divine Lord laugh even more sinisterly. I don't have that much, Xiao Yuemei said. I originally thought that you didn't have that much and only wanted to ask you for 50 billion. But my disciple said that you are doing well in the heavenly moon ancient clan, you can definitely get 100 billion. The great divine Lord said with smile. Yu Xieji, I also believe that you can get it. It's settled. In 3 months, give it to my disciple. After the great divine Lord finished speaking, he cut off the connection. Xiao Yuemei furiously glared at the great divine Lord and shouted, Great En, you despicable bastard! Yu Xieji, don't be angry. You are doing so well in the heavenly moon ancient clan, I am very jealous of you. You should be happy. The great divine Lord laughed loudly and said, 100 billion should be very easy for you to get, right? If Yu Xieji was here, she might really kill a guy like the great divine Lord without a care in the world. Just like that, even Qin Yun and the others want to rush over and beat up this great divine Lord. "You Xieji, just you wait. Wait until my master becomes strong, take down Qin Yun and seize his divine king heavenly seal. At that time, I will be the little divine king." The great divine lord laughed loudly and said, "At that time, you won't even be qualified to carry my shoes." Yuelon and the others previously learned from Qin Yun that the great divine lord's divine king heavenly seal has been taken back by the 9 Sun Law spirit. The great divine lord doesn't have the divine king heavenly seal now, but the great divine lord doesn't know about it. He is still dreaming about being the little divine king. Xiaomei Yumei is too immersed in her role and wants to beat the great divine lord to death. But she knows that if she makes a move now, it is very likely that Qin Yun's matter will be ruined, so she can only endure. She saw that Qin Yun did not say anything and thought that Qin Yun did not plan to swindle the great divine lord. Moreover, she can't see any good entry point for Qin Yun to cut in and swindle the great divine lord. Chapter 2962. When Qin Yun came in, he opened his heavenly eye to observe the hall. Originally, he only wanted to check if there were any traps or formations lying in ambush. He did not discover any formations, but he discovered that the Sun-Moon Emperor's body is emitting a faint golden light. Qin at first, Yun Gang thought that it was the aura released by the Sun-Moon Emperor, but after thinking about it, he confirmed that it is not the aura of divine space power. In order to see more clearly, he used his mental power to circulate it in his eyes to strengthen his heavenly eye. That is how he saw the faint golden aura on the Sun-Moon Emperor's body. If he did not use his mental power, he would not be able to see it. My luck viewing technique is back. Qin Yun is pleasantly surprised. Ever since the number of myriad realms divine suns in divine desolate increased, he could not use the imperial heaven divine technique to see other people's luck. Later Tai Shi told him that it is because the fates of all living beings in divine desolate are controlled by the 9 suns Dharma spirit. Without a strong enough soul, one cannot see other people's luck. Qin after Qin Yun cultivated divine soul and gained 50 mental power, he can finally use the luck viewing technique again. Originally, he was not too sure because he could not see anything when he looked at Xiao Yuemei, Xiao Yuelon and Yu Shaoling. However, he can see something from Yu Yan. Yu Yan's body has a translucent aura, which means that her luck is neither good nor bad. Then in order to use the luck viewing art to see more clearly, Qin Yun gathered all his mental power into his eyes. While opening his heavenly eye, he used the luck viewing art again. Very quickly, he saw that the Sun-Moon Emperor's body is enveloped by a very strong golden aura. This is a sign of good luck. The Sun-Moon Emperor's fortune aura is very strong, but it seems to be limited within a certain range. Although there is fortune aura, he is unable to absorb it. Based on what Qin Yun had learned from the Imperial Divine Technique, he had a very strange intuition that the Sun-Moon Tribe Emperor was currently in a period of great fortune. This guy is overflowing with wealth, Qin Yun thought. At this moment, Xiao Yuemei, who has turned into Yu Xieji, pretended to be very angry and turned around to leave the Heavenly Court Pavilion. Great Sovereign, he has been very lucky recently, this is very rare. Qin Yun quickly followed behind Xiao Yuemei and said in low voice. Although his voice is very low, with the Sun-Moon Emperor's current strength, he can hear it clearly. He only knows that this old man is Yu Xieji's personal inscription master, but he doesn't know what his level is. Hearing this old man say that he has great luck recently, he can't help but be startled. Wait! The Sun-Moon Tribe Emperor shouted. Xiao Yuemei thought that Qin Yun has already cancelled his plan to swindle the Sun-Moon Emperor because the relationship between her and the Sun-Moon Emperor is very stiff. See, when the Sun-In Race's Emperor told Qin Yun to wait, Xiao Yuelon and Xiao Yuemei knew that the fish has taken the bait. Let's go. Xiao Yuemei cooperated with Qin Yun and shouted coldly. Senior Wang, The relationship between the Sun Moon Tribe's emperor and our great sovereign is very bad. There is no need for you to spend so much energy to read his fortune. Xiao Yuelon said in a low voice. I didn't consume anything. The main thing is that his luck is flourishing. It would be hard for me not to see him. Qin Yun laughed loudly and said, Since he is not great sovereign's friend, let's go. Yin Race's emperor is very suspicious because he knows that Yu Xieji is a very proud and arrogant person. Moreover, she is very disgusted with men, but now she is so respectful towards an old man. It can be seen that this old man is not an ordinary person. What shocked the Sun Yin Race's emperor the most is that he has indeed been very lucky recently, but he is still lacking a bit. Tu Yin Race's emperor yelled, Friend, although I am not Yu Xieji's friend, I can be your friend. Can you tell me how is my luck recently? Xiao Yueme coldly said, Old Wang, ignore him. You saw with your own eyes how he treated me just now. Old Wang, your cultivation is not high. From your aura of divine space power, you are only second-level divine space realm. You must be lacking divine space golden stones. Since you have mastered a special technique that allows you to read other people's fate, you should properly use it for your own benefit. We can cooperate. I can give you a lot of divine space golden stones. Sun Yin Race's emperor said. Qin Yun just probed and found out that the Sun Yin Race's emperor has been very lucky recently, but he still encountered some problems, so he is unable to obtain a lot of wealth. I am already Great Venerable's personal inscription master. If I want to cooperate with others, I will need her permission first. Sun Yin Race's emperor ferociously glared at Xiao Yueme and said again, Yu Xieji, you gave Master 100 billion divine space golden stones. I am willing to help you pay 20 billion, what do you think? 50 billion. Xiao Yueme said. The most I can offer is 25 billion. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was also haggling. But it can be seen that the Sun Yin Race's emperor has encountered a problem and needs help to solve it. Once the problem is solved, he will be able to obtain great benefit. Old Wang, let's go. Xiao Yueme continued walking towards the door. 30 billion. Sun Yin Race's emperor gritted his teeth and said, Give it to me first. If your master knows that you are helping me pay 30 billion, his face will not look good. You should know better than me that your master is very happy to see me fight with you. Xiao Yueme said. The Divine King naturally hopes that his subordinates will fight amongst themselves so that they will not join together to attack him, the great Divine King. This way it will be easier for him to control his subordinate. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor understood this and said, I will give you 30 billion. What else does Old Wang want? I don't need a reward, but I'm afraid that this will affect your future. You should understand this logic. If you don't give it to me, it will be unfair. As for what will happen in the future, I can't say for sure. Qin Yun said with a faint smile. The Yin tribe's emperor was startled. He gritted his teeth and said, Then how much do I have to pay? Don't worry, don't worry. After the matter is done, you can decide for yourself. Qin Yun said. Old Wang, I have something to discuss with you. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said. Xiao Ye Mei immediately said, Then you have to give me 30 billion Divine Universe Metal Stones first. That won't do. I am not sure if Old Wang can help me. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's tone was not as harsh as before. After all, he had a favor to ask. Qin Yun nodded at Xiao Yueme and then said to the Sun Moon Tribe's great emperor, Then let's talk. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor immediately led Qin Yun into a secret chamber through the side door of the hall. And he requested Qin Yun to sign a soul contract and not divulge their conversation. Only then did he tell Qin Yun that secret. Old Wang, I have been very lucky recently. I found a very special treasure land by chance. It is a small space with a large amount of Divine Universe metal stones inside. At first, I thought that someone had placed the Divine Universe metal stones inside, but after my investigation, I found out that they are naturally formed. the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor hastily said. Chapter 2963. Qin Yun is also very surprised. The small space has a large amount of divine universe golden stones. This is indeed very rare. It must be known that it is very difficult to find a small space in the divine desolate, let alone a small space with divine universe golden stones. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor is really lucky. Because therefore, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor believed Qin Yun's words because he had not revealed it to anyone after discovering the small space. The Yin Tribe Emperor did not dare to say it because he was afraid that others would take it. Especially the Great Divine Lord. He knew his master's greed. If the Great Divine Lord knew, he would definitely be robbed clean. Therefore, even if the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor encountered some difficulties and could not take out the divine universe golden stones, he would not say it to anyone unless he met someone who had the ability but was not very strong. So you can't enter the small space and can only explore the inside from the entrance? Qin Yun asked. Yes, there is a very strong barrier at the entrance. With my ability, I can't break it. Since you can see that my fortune is very good, then you must be someone who can help me obtain this fortune. After this matter is done, I will not forget your share. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said. Take me to see first. If it is a strong barrier, I might not be able to open it. Qin Yun said. Don't tell Yu Xieji about this. That old woman is very evil. She secretly used many young and handsome men of the Heavenly Moon ancient clan to cultivate in the Divine Moon, and they were all killed by her. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor sneered and said, My master has concrete evidence about this matter. Once it is announced, Yu Xieji will definitely be finished. Qin Yun guessed that Yu Xieji must have done something cruel, and it is similar to what he guessed. I won't tell Great Senior too much. I will just say that I will be leaving for a period of time. Qin Yun said. The Yin Tribe Emperor's cultivation is not very high. Although he is at the 3rd level of the Divine Space Realm, his Divine Space Power is only around 2,000. When an ordinary person's Divine Space Power reaches 2,000, they will step into the 4th level of the Divine Space Realm. After all, the Yin Emperor has some ability, so his divine cosmos power has exceeded the limit, but not by much. Qin Yun can deal with it. Contact me after you get rid of Yu Xieji. Sun Moon Tribe Emperor took out his demon mirror and exchanged contact information with Qin Yun. After Yun finished talking with the Sun Moon Tribe ruler, he walked out of the secret chamber. Great Yin, can you give me those 30 billion divine universe metal stones now? If you don't, I won't allow Old Wang to help you. Xiao Yuemei said. Yin Tribe's Emperor took out a divine universe gold card and said, This is the metal stone card of the ancient Heavenly Moon clan. I'll transfer 30 billion to you now. If Old Wang can't help me, then you'll have to transfer it back to me. Otherwise, don't blame me for shedding all pretenses. Yun nodded at Xiao Yuemei. After Xiao Yuemei obtained the 30 billion divine universe golden stones, she left with Qin Yun. They entered the carriage, they used their mental power to communicate with each other. Yu Yen knows that this matter is not something she can handle, so she left first and returned to the city lord's mansion. I want to go with that guy. Yuemei, you two continue to dress up like this and stroll around. Let people know that Yu Xieji is not missing. Qin Yun said. Xiao Yun, will you be in danger? Xiao Yuelan asked worriedly. How can I be in danger? That guy is not my opponent. After you go back, go check Yu Xieji's residence. That old hag killed many young men of the ancient Heavenly Moon clan. Qin Yun said. Is that so? I heard that a few young men have gone missing. Xiao Yuemei said in amazement. The souls of the ancient Heavenly Moon clan members are very hard to kill. Since the souls did not return, it is very likely that Yu Xieji sealed them. After we go back, we will check whether the souls are at her residence or not. Yu Shaoling said. The soul might not be in her house, but there should be something in her house. You can also try and enter the moon heart with this appearance and see if you can be recognized. Qin Yun said. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. Brother, you really have a way to fool that guy. Oh, that's right, can you really see other people's luck? I can't see your luck. Qin Yun shook his head and said, All right, you guys go back first. I will go to the Emperor's side of the Sun Moon tribe. Little hubby, keep in touch and be extra careful. Xiao Yuan warned. Qin Yun walked out of the carriage and immediately went to the Heavenly Court Pavilion. When he arrived outside, he took out the magic mirror and contacted the Sun Moon tribe's emperor. No matter what, he has already obtained 30 billion divine universe golden stones from the Sun Moon tribe's emperor. The next step was to go to that small space and see how to operate it to obtain all the divine universe goldstones in that small space. As for the Sun Moon tribe's emperor, in Qin Yun's eyes, he is a person who is about to die. Qin Yun did not let down his guard. The Sun Moon tribe's emperor was very humble before because he needed help. One after helping him, Qin Yun could not guarantee what would happen. When the Sun Moon tribe's emperor saw that Qin Yun returned so quickly, he smiled and said, Old Wang, let's go now. There are only the two of us, you don't have to worry. In the Sun Moon tribe's emperor's eyes, Old Wang is an inscription master and his cultivation is only at the second level of the divine space realm, so he is not afraid of him. The Sun Moon tribe's emperor brought Qin Yun out of the city and flew very fast. He said that the place is very far and that it is in a very desolate area. Because of the lack of resources, there are no treasures in the area, so there are no beasts. At most, there are many large and dense plants. Qin Yun followed beside the Sun Moon tribe's emperor and flew in the sky. From time to time, he would pay attention to the situation around him. He is worried that the great divine king will suddenly appear. Sun Moon tribe's emperor, why don't you tell your master about this discovery? Qin Yun asked even though he already knew the answer. I don't want to trouble him. He is the great divine king and he is in charge of the heavenly court. He is very busy. The Sun Moon tribe's emperor said with an embarrassed smile. I remember that you entered the Sun Ancient Clan's Heavenly Sun sect. There should be many powerful elders in the Heavenly Sun sect. It might be better to ask them for help. Qin Yun said. Actually, I can't guarantee whether or not I can break the seal. My cultivation is limited. If the elders of the Heavenly Sun sect see that place, they might want to divide it in half or even keep it for themselves. I don't want to ask them. The Sun Moon tribe's emperor cursed. Qin Yun can see that the Sun Moon tribe's emperor does not trust anyone and only wants to keep the small space filled with divine universe golden stones. How did you find that small space? It is in the vast no man's area. It is not easy to find a small entrance. Qin Yun deliberately exclaimed. That is my good luck. The Sun Moon tribe's emperor laughed and said. Chapter 2964. When Qin Yun saw how happy the Sun Moon Emperor was, he knew that there were many divine universe golden stones in that small space. It would take a lot of time to get to that small space. Qin Yun planned to ask about the great divine Lord situation on the way. There were still 3 months before the great divine Lord would go find Yu Xieji again to collect the divine universe golden stones. Qin Yun believed that these 3 months were enough for him to grow up and kill the great divine Lord. The great divine Lord's current cultivation was not low and his strength was still very strong. If Qin Yun wanted to have the power to defeat the great divine Lord within 3 months, he would need more divine universe golden stones. The great divine Lord no longer had the divine king heavenly seal, but he still had the heavenly universe divine sun heart. Furthermore, he seemed to be able to obtain quite a few cultivation resources in the Yang ancient clan. Qin Yun still did not know much about the great divine Lord. Now that the Great Divine Lord's disciple was considered the Great Divine Lord's most trusted person, Qin Yun was right beside him, so he could ask around. Sun Moon Emperor, since you and your master have entered the Heavenly Sun sect, then you must have received very high treatment, right? Especially your master. He is the Great Divine Lord. Even the elders of the Yang ancient clan must value him greatly. Qin Yun said. Only my master can be valued. The treatment I receive is only average. I'm not afraid to tell you that the bloodline heavenly marks in my body are not very good. I wonder how those fellows from the Yang ancient clan tested it. Speaking of this matter, the Sun Moon Emperor was very unhappy. If your bloodline heavenly marks were good enough, would you be able to receive the same treatment as your master? What kind of treatment would that be? Qin Yun pretended to be envious and asked. The Sun Moon Emperor said, It's just that I can obtain some cultivation pills and quite a few cultivation techniques. Of course, my master's situation is different because not only is his bloodline heavenly marks good, he also has a very strong heart. That is a very small heavenly universe divine sun. Those fellows from the Yang ancient clan are very interested in my master's heart. They all want to know how to place the heavenly universe divine sun into the divine universe in their bodies. Qin Yun knew that the Great Divine Lord had a heavenly universe divine sun heart, but he did not know that the Yang ancient clan was so interested in it. This meant that the formation of the Great Divine Lord's heart was definitely very difficult. The Great Divine Lord is so powerful, his heart is actually a small divine sun. Qin Yun pretended to be surprised and sighed. That's right. My master's heart is still sealed. He can obtain energy from it bit by bit to cultivate. That Qin Yun is no match for my master. Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said. Then how did your master turn little heaven universe divine sun into a heart? Qin Yun asked curiously. He is the great divine king. Of course this was bestowed upon him by the 9 Yang Law Spirit. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said, This process is quite complicated. Therefore, the ancient Yang clan wants to understand what is going on so that they can master this skill. The elders of the ancient Yang clan had a deep understanding of divine suns, and there were many divine suns of various sizes in the universe. If one could successfully capture them and refine them into the divine universe within one's body, and use them for cultivation, it would indeed be very frightening. The divine cosmos energy body inside Qin Yun's body evolved from a super-large nether sunday. It is much higher than the small heavenly cosmos divine sun, but now it has been sealed by the primordial beginning. The primordial beginning only said that it would be of great help to him in the future. In order to completely feel the benefits of the energy body, he would have to wait until he crossed the divine space realm or the realms after the divine space realm. Along the way, Qin Yun found out many things about the Great Divine King from the Sun Moon Emperor. The Great Divine King was mainly in the Heavenly Sun sect and would occasionally enter the 9 Sun sacred land. He did not need to enter, but the Great Divine King had requested to enter. The Great Divine King also had his own team. The members of this team were all very strong and had a very harmonious relationship with the Great Divine King. This surprised Qin Yun because with the Great Divine King's personality, it was impossible for him to get along well with others. This meant that the other members of the team were all very strong, so the Great Divine King could only remain humble. Furthermore, the Great Divine King had obtained many life-saving items from the elders of the Yang ancient clan. They were mainly some heavenly talismans or defensive divine tools. Previously, the Great Divine King had used a very strong spatial treasure to escape from the 6th Divine Sunday. Qin Yun secretly suspected that the Sun Moon Emperor beside him might have many life-saving items on him. If not for this concern, he would have long since attacked the Sun Moon Emperor and enslaved him. He did not have absolute confidence. If he failed and allowed the Sun Moon Emperor to send out a message to the outside world and contact the Great Divine King, many things would be exposed. Qin Yun had to get rid of the Sun Moon Emperor. As long as he could go to that small space and enter it, it would be a very good opportunity. The Sun Moon Emperor chatted with Qin Yun on the way, as if they were old acquaintances. However, Qin Yun did not let down his guard. The Sun Moon Emperor had followed the great divine king for many years. He was a very sinister, cunning, and ruthless person. As long as there were benefits, he could sell out anyone. If he was truly loyal to the great divine king, he would definitely tell him about the small space. Old Wang, how did you and Yu Xieji get to know each other? To be able to make this old woman think highly of you, it can be seen that you are quite capable. The Sun Moon Emperor chuckled. He now began to ask about Qin Yun. When I met her, she just happened to have bad luck. After I helped her change her luck, she saw that my inscription technique was not bad, so she cooperated with me and let me become her personal inscription master. Qin Yun said with smile. She promised me that she would bring me into the Moon Heart to cultivate as the basis for our cooperation. The Sun Moon Emperor nodded and said, entering the Moon Heart to cultivate, this is indeed very good. The Heaven's Divine Moon is not only suitable for the various Moon Clan, it is also suitable for our Sun Moon Divine race. It's a pity that we can't enter. I heard that you can enter the 6th Divine Sun, this is also very good. Qin Yun said. Don't mention the inside of the 6th Divine Sunday. We can indeed enter, but it's only a small area. It's not even as big as a city. The other areas are all sealed. The Sun Moon Emperor said unhappily, that small and broken place, it's useless to squeeze so many people in. Qin Yun did not know about this matter. He thought that the great divine king and the others had obtained a very large area within the 6th Divine Sun, larger than the 4 Divine Suns. He did not expect that it would only be such a small area. Qin Yun and the Sun Moon Emperor chatted for a long time and discovered that the Sun Moon Emperor was very dissatisfied with the great divine king. Furthermore, he was very ambitious. If he had enough power, he would definitely kill his own great divine king master. After flying for 2 days, Qin Yun roughly estimated his current location. He was in the outer region of the Heavens Divine Desolate. This is a very desolate and uninhabited area. There are many tall mountains, but there are no plants. In the Heavens Divine Desolate, this kind of place is called a land of death. Chapter 2965. This uninhabited land of death was illuminated by strong sunlight, but it was only light. The core energy of the myriad realms' divine sun would not be concentrated here. The energy of the myriad realms' divine sun was mainly concentrated in the 9 sun sacred ground, because the seal there required a large amount of energy. Without the seal of the 9 sun sacred ground, the energy of the myriad realms' divine sun could be released and cover more areas of the heavens divine desolate. As long as there was a strong enough energy cover, all kinds of treasure lands would appear one after another. At the same time, some strong tribes would also appear. Ever since the 9 sun sacred ground came out of that passage, a large number of foreign creatures came in. The energy of the myriad realms' divine sun was concentrated in that seal, so after that, the number of strong tribes that appeared became fewer and fewer. The energy of the myriad realms' divine sun was mainly concentrated in the 9 sun sacred ground, so a lot of energy would descend on the surface of the 9 sun sacred ground, causing the 9 sun sacred ground to be very rich in resources. If enough energy was penetrated deep into the ground, after a period of time, the underground would gradually form a divine universe golden stone mine. Qin Yun floated in the air and looked down at the land that was covered by giant mountains. If the energy of the myriad realms' divine sun was slightly inclined here, the area below would definitely be lush and green, unlike now where it was completely bare and yellow. That small space is nearby. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor carefully took out a large disk. On the way, He had relied on this disk to guide him to come here. How did you find the entrance to that small space? That's really rare. Qin Yun still found it hard to understand why the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor would come to this place and find the entrance to that small space. I originally wanted to go to the edge of the heavens divine desolate to take a look. On the way back, I happened to pass by this place at night and saw a weak light on the ground. I went down to take a look and then found the entrance to that small space. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor smiled and said, "This is really luck, I can't stop it." Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and looked at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's luck again. He could not help but be shocked. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was previously wrapped in golden luck, but he could not absorb it. Now, within the golden luck, there was a weak black gas. Black gas, this is not good. It means that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor is in trouble. Qin Yun was suddenly puzzled because he had planned to attack the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. He did not know if this was the reason why the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's luck had started to change. If it wasn't for this reason, it meant that the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor would be threatened by other forces and might even lose his life. The fact that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's disk could locate the small space meant that he had left something at the entrance of the small space and then covered it up with something else. Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, did you see anything alive when you were outside the small space? Qin Yun asked. No, I've looked at it for several days, and it's all golden and dazzling divine universe goldstone. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said confidently. Then, I moved a few mountains over to cover the entrance. It's not good for you to move the mountain randomly. There will be obvious signs. Qin Yun frowned. It was noon at the moment. The barren, gigantic stone mountains were lined up in rows on the ground, looking as if they were being roasted. Is that so? I covered it up very well. When I looked at it from the sky, I did not see any signs. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said. If one is good at reading the terrain, he or she would be able to see if the mountains here have moved. Qin Yun said. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor patted the disk in his hand and scolded in a low voice. There is something wrong with this stupid thing. I left a signal device behind, but it cannot be sensed now. What kind of signal did you leave behind? Is it a soul power signal or a spatial wave signal? Qin Yun asked. It is a soul power signal. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's face turned ugly, and he hurriedly said, Old Wang, do you know how to read the terrain? Look at the mountains here and see if there are any signs of it being moved. If it is a soul power signal, this is not good. It will be easily disrupted. Qin Yun said, You should have left behind two signals, both a soul power signal and a spatial wave signal. What kind of disturbance can there be in such a desolate place? The disk of the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor did not respond at all. Qin Yun looked at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's luck again and found that the golden luck around him had disappeared. Faint black chi appeared. Not long after, the golden mist around the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's body disappeared, which meant that his luck was gone and it had turned into bad luck. Qin Yun immediately guessed that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor did not control his luck well, and that was why he lost his luck. At the same time, he was suffering from a backlash, and that was why he attracted bad luck to himself. You are wrong. Although this is a desolate place, there is a small space and there is a large number of divine universe golden stones in the small space. This means that this place is not simple. Qin Yun became very vigilant at this moment and carefully looked at the ground below. What is going on? The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor became anxious and quickly took out a long sword. The small space might have been discovered. The tracking device that you left behind was suddenly destroyed. This should have happened not long ago. Qin Yun said. This was his guess. If there was really something that could discover the small space or was inside the small space, it must be very dangerous. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's face changed and became very fierce. He angrily said, Old man, did you find out where the entrance of the small space is? Then you secretly messed with the signal source so that I could not sense the tracking device. That must be it. As he spoke, he placed his long sword beside Qin Yun's neck and shouted, "Quickly take me to the entrance of the small space, or I will kill you." Qin Yun knew what kind of person the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was. Although they had been chatting on the way here, he had turned hostile at this moment. Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, don't be anxious. I really did not do anything. If you kill me, you will not get anything, Qin Yun said. He deliberately said this to show that he was weak so that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor would look down on him. If you do not help me find the small space, I will cut off your dog head and use it as a urinal. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's face was fierce, and he fiercely kicked Qin Yun's butt and shouted, "Quickly find it." Qin Yun took a look at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's luck, and it was completely black. What puzzled Qin Yun was that he did not have the thought of killing the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. This meant that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's luck was very likely to be a threat from other places. This idiot, he does not even know that he is in trouble. Qin Yun's heavenly eye doppelganger quickly saw that there were a few mountains that were out of place. These were the mountains that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor had moved. Chapter 2966. Seeing Qin Yun hovering in the air motionlessly, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor shouted anxiously. He grabbed Qin Yun's collar and shouted, "Old fool, don't waste time and quickly find the entrance, or I will castrate you first." "I am almost there." Qin Yun knew that there were 5 mountains that looked irregular and out of place with the terrain. Qin Yun had already found out long ago, and he was deliberately stalling for time to see what would happen to the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. "Humph! You have indeed found out where the entrance is. You purposely did not tell me and even destroyed the signal transmission. You old bastard, you are really evil." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was sure that Qin Yun was behind this. Qin Yun sneered in his heart. He really did not do anything. If he was really evil, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor might have already been killed and could only escape with his soul. "You say I am evil, fine, I will show you how I am going to do evil to you," Qin Yun thought to himself. He was silently enduring and waiting for the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor to enter the small space. At that time, he would see if the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor would be the unlucky one. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor took out a chain and tied it around Qin Yun's neck as if he was a dog. He sneered, "Old bastard, don't try to struggle. My chain will tie you up tightly and you will not be able to break free." Of course, Qin Yun could break free. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's chain was no different from mud in his eyes. "Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, I really did not do anything. Let me remind you, don't focus all your attention on me. You must be wary of the dangers that might appear in the small space." Qin Yun reminded the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor sincerely. "Stop talking nonsense. Are we there yet?" The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor shouted as he pulled Qin Yun forward. Qin Yun casually pointed at a few mountains and said, "Over there, let's try." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor punched the ground a few times. With his strength, even if he did not use much divine space power, he would still be able to smash the mountains into pieces. After a few loud sounds, the mountains were smashed into pieces and a large number of stones were swept away by a violent air wave. There is nothing. The entrance to the small space is a vertical golden spatial crack. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor pulled Qin Yun over and scolded, "You old bastard, are you messing with me? You didn't give me enough time to look." Qin Yun said, "That's why my judgment was affected." He had indeed pointed at the wrong location on purpose in order to stall for time and see if the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's calamity had arrived. That way, he would be able to get rid of the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor without having to do anything. "If you don't point correctly, I will cut off your head." Sun Moon Emperor is very angry because he is sure that Qin Yun is behind this. Qin Yun did not want to clash with the Sun Moon Tribe's emperor, so he pointed out the correct mountains. The Sun Moon Tribe emperor glared at Qin Yun and said coldly, "If you are wrong again, you are finished." As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately sent out several powerful punches towards the mountains that Qin Yun pointed out. Boom, boom, boom. Another series of loud explosions rang out. The earth shook violently and sand and dust flew up. The aftermath of the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's punches swept out majestically in all directions. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor is an impatient person, and he threw out a few more talismans. These are talismans that can burst out strong gales and blow the dust away. Originally, there was a large mountain below, but now it had been blasted away. Moreover, there was also a huge sunken pit. After the dust was blown away, under the intense sunlight, a few meters tall golden bar was suspended above the pit. This golden bar is like a golden crack that appeared out of nowhere, and it leads to the small space. What Qin Yun found strange is that there are no other dangerous things nearby. So why did the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor lose his signal? The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was able to come here because of the signal. Now that the signal has been lost, if it is not destroyed by something, then there must be something wrong with the tool. Old bastard, it is really you who is behind this. You want to keep all the divine universe golden stones in the small space for yourself, right? No wonder you can be together with Yu Xieji, you two are birds of a feather. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor sneered. I knew it, those who are together with Yu Xieji are all the same. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor pulled the chain and laughed loudly as he rushed towards the spatial crack. Qin Yun looked at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's luck again, and it is still the same as before. Is this guy going to be killed by me? Qin Yun is not too sure because he only planned to control the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor after entering the small space. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor is very rich and he is in charge of the entire heavenly court. Qin Yun does not plan to kill him immediately, but he wants to squeeze out some divine universe golden stones first. Quickly go and see if you can open the seal at the entrance. If you can't, I will kill you immediately. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor shouted. He is now using the chain to lock Qin Yun's neck as if he is walking a dog, and this made him very proud. Qin Yun flew towards the spatial rift. It was only half a meter wide, but he could see its interior. The tiny space was the size of a small mountain villa. It was golden and there were many divine metallic rocks of various sizes piled up inside. It was unknown how they were formed. He stretched out his hand to touch the entrance and found that there is indeed a very strong barrier blocking it, making it impossible for him to put his hand in. Qin Yun is not in a hurry to see how to break the barrier. Instead, he carefully observed the situation inside to see if there is any danger. However, the barrier is very strong and it can isolate everything inside the small space, making it impossible for him to sense the situation inside. Can you open the barrier? If you can't, tell me immediately so that I can cut off your head. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor shouted angrily. This will take time. You should know better than me how strong this barrier is. If I really opened it in an instant, then it would be impossible for me to be caught by you. Qin Yun snorted, expressing his dissatisfaction. Seeing that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor is about to speak, Qin Yun said again, If you don't be quiet, it will take a long time. I hope you don't disturb me when I break the barrier. He took out the primal beginning divine mirror and then hid the divine king heavenly seal under the wide sleeve of his robe. With his back facing the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, he pressed the divine king heavenly seal behind the primal beginning divine mirror and made the primal beginning divine mirror shoot out strong light. On the way, Qin Yun also talked with Taisher, so Taisher knew what Qin Yun wanted to do. Brother Taisher, can you see through the barrier? I feel that there is something in the small space. Qin Yun said. I can't see through it. Let's go in first. If there is really something strong, it won't be too late for you to run out. With me here, I can guarantee that you can run out quickly. Taisher said. Chapter 2967. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor did not rush Qin Yun because the barrier was indeed very strong and it was unrealistic for him to break it in a short period of time. Qin Yun could actually break it very quickly, but he was not sure of the situation inside. If there was something inside that he could not deal with, it would be very dangerous after he entered. Although Taisher could escape in a short period of time, what if he encountered something very strong? It was not that Qin Yun did not trust Taisher, but he had to be more cautious. He could open an entrance through the divine mirror of primal beginning, but he could not completely break the barrier. Opening the entrance was only temporary. After entering, it would close up very quickly. He now quietly opened a small entrance and placed a probing bead inside. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor used a chain to wrap around Qin Yun's neck. The chain was very long, and he was more than 10 meters away from Qin Yun. He could not see the situation inside the small space, and did not notice Qin Yun's small action. The bead that Qin Yun placed in was like an eyeball, floating in the small space, and allowing him to see the situation inside more clearly. After a very careful investigation, Qin Yun did not find anything like a monster, which made him even more puzzled. Because this small space could not have appeared out of nowhere, and there were so many Divine Universe golden stones inside. There were many Divine Universe golden stones inside the small space, big and small. The biggest was the size of a small hill, and the smallest was the size of a rice grain. On the ground, there were many fist-sized Divine Universe golden stones piled up in a thick layer. No matter how he looked at it, it did not look like it was formed naturally. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor had told Qin Yun that the Divine Universe golden stones inside the small space were formed naturally. Now that Qin Yun looked more carefully, he was sure that someone had moved the Divine Universe golden stones into the small space, and those Divine Universe golden stones were dug out. There must be something collecting the Divine Universe golden stones in this area and then putting them into the small space. Qin Yun did not expect that there would be so many Divine Universe golden stones in this dead land. In the Divine Desolate, not including the 9-sun holy ground, the dead land was the largest, and it could be said to occupy 70 to 80% of the Divine Desolate. If there were Divine Universe golden stones hidden in these dead lands, it would definitely be a very large number if they could be collected. Qin Yun began to feel curious. Just what kind of powerful fellow could collect the Divine Universe golden stones and store them in this small space? This small space has an owner. Qin Yun is very certain, and his strength is definitely not weak. To be able to collect so many Divine Universe golden stones, he would definitely be able to use them to cultivate and become stronger. He didn't find any living beings in the small space, so it was very likely that they had gone out. Just now, the Emperor of the Sun Moon Tribe had viciously attacked the mountain and created such a huge commotion. If there were any living beings in the small space, they would have come out long ago. "Let's go in first, I just need to protect myself," Qin Yun said. Protecting himself is not a problem. As for the life and death of the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor, it had nothing to do with him. Qin Yun was also afraid that if the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor was suddenly killed, he would not be able to obtain anything. "Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, do you have the Divine Universe Golden Rock?" Qin Yun suddenly asked. "I need a large amount of Divine Universe Golden Rocks to be able to release even stronger power." "Old man, don't try to fool me," the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor shouted. "You want to swindle my Divine Universe Golden Rocks, right?" Qin Yun sighed. "If you want to be faster, you will need a large amount of Divine Universe Golden Rocks. If you don't want to, you can only let my tool absorb enough energy by itself. This might take a few months." "Can your broken tool really break the barrier?" the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said in disbelief and flew over. "It can't break the barrier, but it can temporarily make a crack appear on the barrier. After a period of time, the crack will close again. Qin Yun said, "If you don't believe me, I will make a very small hole for you to see." Qin Yun activated the primal beginning divine mirror and made a hole the size of a finger. Then, a small stone can be stuffed in. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor used his finger to poke the hole and found that it could indeed go through the barrier. This made him very excited. But after a while, the hole closed again. "There is not enough energy to make a bigger hole, so I need a large amount of Divine Universe Golden Rocks," Qin Yun said. "How much?" the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor asked coldly. "I need 10 billion. Qin Yun wanted to say a bigger number, but he was afraid that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor did not have enough. After all, not everyone had a spatial storage divine tool that could store 10 billion Divine Universe Golden Rock. He was also worried that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor did not have enough Divine Universe Golden Rocks. Seeing the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's face gradually turn gloomy, Qin Yun said again, "If we can go in, we will get more than 10 billion Divine Universe Golden Rocks." The small space was not big, but there was a lot of Divine Universe Golden Rocks in it. It was impossible to estimate how many there were, but it must be more than 200 billion. "If you don't have enough, go back and get more. It will be faster," Qin Yun said. In his opinion, after entering the small space, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor would be finished. Once the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was finished, Qin Yun would not get anything. He had planned to control the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor and exploit him. Now that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor wanted to die, Qin Yun would not stop him. "Do you look down on me that much? Of course I have 10 billion. I carry it with me." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor snorted. "I am the supervisor of the Heavenly Court. How can I not have 10 billion Divine Universe Golden Rocks?" Generally speaking, being able to carry 10 billion Divine Universe Golden Rocks with him was a sign of strength and status. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was very unhappy with Qin Yun's disdainful look and Qin Yun telling him to go back and get more. "Is that so? That's great." Qin Yun laughed. "Let's start now. Take out the Divine Universe Golden Rocks, and let me put them into my equipment." Actually, to pass through that enchantment, one did not need to expend many Divine Universe Golden Stones. Just 1 or 200 million was enough. "If you are trying to trick me and cheat me of my Divine Universe Golden Rocks, I will make you regret coming to this world." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor gritted his teeth and said fiercely. Qin Yun smiled faintly. In his opinion, after entering the small space, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was no different from a dead man. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor used a box to store 10 million at a time. He had to do this many times before he could store 10 billion. Qin Yun did not say a word because it was for the best. If large numbers of Divine Universe Goldstones were exposed, it might even lure out the Pocket Space's Lord. When the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor took out the Divine Universe Golden Rock, he wore a smug look and sneered. "Old man, did you look down on me previously? Do you think I don't have such a big storage artifact?" Ray Sem. Chapter 2968. Qin Yun really looked down on the Sun Moon Emperor, otherwise he would not have asked him for 10 billion Divine Universe Golden Stones. Qin Yun was indeed surprised that the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor had such a large storage divine item that contained 10 billion Divine Universe Golden Stones. "No, I am just worried that you will not believe me and will not give me the Divine Universe Golden Stones. If that happens, we will need a long time to enter the small space," Qin Yun said. "How many Divine Universe Golden Stones are in the small space?" the Sun Moon Emperor said. "About 500 billion. Qin Yun also estimated in a big way. "Ha ha ha, very good, the Sun Moon Emperor laughed loudly. To him, this is a large amount of Divine Universe Golden Stones. Although he has some Divine Universe Golden Stones in his hands, Great Divine Lord has a tight control over them. The amount of divine universe golden stone he transferred to Xiao Yueme is precisely the amount he dug out with great difficulty and secretly saved up. If not for Great Divine Lord's strict control, he would have been able to get a lot of divine universe golden stones with his power in the heavenly court. Sun Moon Emperor, after entering the small space, you won't kill me, right? Qin Yun suddenly asked. You are a useful guy. I won't kill you, but if you want to live, you will have to sign a soul contract with me. Become my dog and I will let you live and I will not mistreat you in the future. The Sun Moon Emperor said. But what about you, Xieji? If she knows about this, she will definitely not let you off. Qin Yun said. If he said that he would let others be his dog, they would definitely be abused in the future. Even a fool would not believe that he would not mistreat her. What are you afraid of? If you don't say it, I don't say it, how will she know? I also want you to hide beside her and help me collect information. The Sun Moon Emperor said with a sinister smile. Honestly, since you agreed to come with me, I have decided to take you as my dog. Qin Yun pretended to be very serious about collecting the divine universe golden stones. What made him feel funny was that he also wanted to enslave the Sun Moon Emperor. You old bastard, don't you come out often? Don't you know how sinister people are? Therefore, you can't blame me for being defeated by me. You can only blame yourself for being too naive and being defenseless against me. You came to me on your own accord. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor laughed. Qin Yun was speechless. The Sun Moon Tribe's emperor was truly a shameless person. To think that he could say such words with such confidence. Qin Yun only smiled and thought to himself, wait and see how you die. Qin Yun, who has seen many strange things, is not surprised by this. He is now paying attention to the movements in his surroundings. He is worried that something will suddenly jump out. After working for half a day, Qin Yun finally finished collecting the divine universe golden stones that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor had given him. To test the waters, he even asked the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor to give him 1 billion divine universe golden stones. This caused the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor to curse, but he still took out 1 billion divine universe golden stones and gave it to Qin Yun. When Qin Yun saw that it was about time, he had the divine mirror of primordial beginning release an even stronger power and attack the entrance of the small space. Not long after, a crack slowly appeared on the spirit formation at the entrance. What made Qin Yun feel strange was that the owner of the small space did not appear during this period of time. He had thought that it would appear because when the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor gave him the divine universe golden stones, he had exposed many energy waves of the divine universe golden stones. It's finally open. Qin Yun wiped the sweat off his face and said, Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, do you want to go in first or should I go in first? After the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor shortened the chain, he said, I will go in first and then I will pull you in. Up to you. Qin Yun nodded. He was surprised. He thought that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor would let him in first. After all, it was hard to know if there was any danger inside. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor immediately dashed out and entered through the crack in the spirit formation. Qin Yun purposely made the crack small so that only one person could go out. The moment the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor dashed out, Qin Yun immediately took out the Heaven's Divine Saber and cut the chain. The chain was quite strong. If Qin Yun did not have the Heaven's Divine Saber, it would not have been so easy to cut. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor wanted to pull Qin Yun in, but after using a lot of strength, he pulled in a broken chain. At the same time, Qin Yun activated the Divine Mirror of Taisher to close the crack in the spirit formation. Old bastard, you mother cur! The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor scolded angrily. He rushed towards the spirit formation and attacked it crazily. Qin Yun stood outside the spirit formation and was very close to the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. However, there was a transparent spirit formation between them. There is a problem. Why did the crack in the spirit formation close so quickly? Qin Yun pretended to be very anxious and said, Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, don't worry. I will start now and I will definitely open it. Just wait patiently. You old man, you must be doing this on purpose. CKU, let me out. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor scolded angrily. Qin Yun continued to use the divine mirror of Taisher to illuminate the crack in the spirit formation. He had originally planned to go in with the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. However, since the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor had gone in first, he immediately changed his plan. Qin Yun had tried to enter the spirit formation before and the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was restricted. Now that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was trapped inside, Qin Yun was very happy. He stood outside the spirit formation and looked at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor jumping up and down as if he was looking at a crazy monkey. Old bastard, stop pretending. When I get out, I will definitely cut you into 8 pieces. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor scolded angrily. Qin Yun smiled and slowly loosened the chain around his neck. He said with a smile, Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, didn't you say that you want to enslave me like a dog? Now that you are trapped inside, how are you going to enslave me in the future? You dog slave, hurry up and let your master out. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor shouted until his throat was hoarse. He finally knew how long he had been fooled. Because Qin Yun could easily cut the chain, it meant that he could have escaped. However, Qin Yun had pretended to beg for mercy and even asked for 11 billion divine universe golden stones. You interfered with my signal device from the beginning, and you still dare to deny it. You old bastard, when I get out, I will kill you. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor became angrier the more he thought about it. I really did not interfere with your signal device. To tell you the truth, the divine universe golden stones in this small space have an owner and the person who collected them is very strong. I am not sure if he is a human or a beast. Qin Yun said with a smile. The only thing I am sure of is that your signal device was destroyed by that guy. If you don't believe me, take out the detector and see. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor shivered and quickly took out a disc. Sure enough, the detector had a reaction. The signal device was inside the small space, and it must have been picked up by someone. Seeing the reaction from the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's detector, Qin Yun was not surprised at all. He said with a smile, I should be able to see who it is very soon. Qin Yun did not dare to go in and take away the divine universe golden stones. He was worried that the owner of the small space had a special ability that could track the divine universe golden stones. Raise. Chapter 2969. In the small space, the Sun Moon Emperor cursed Qin Yun crazily. After all, he was a third-level divine space realm cultivator. No matter how much he scolded, he would not be tired. And Qin Yun did not care because he already had a great advantage. The more he did not care and the more he smiled, the angrier the Sun Moon Emperor became. Qin Yun did not do anything. Just standing there and smiling at the Sun Moon Emperor was enough to make the Sun Moon Emperor explode. My master is the great divine king. On the way, you should have understood how terrifying my master is, right? He will be the ruler of the divine desolate. If I am being schemed against here, he will definitely know. The Sun Moon Emperor knew that scolding Qin Yun was useless and suddenly thought of his master. Qin Yun smiled and said, You finally thought of your master now? After you discovered this small space, why didn't you think of bringing your master here? I think you are afraid that the divine universe golden stones in this small space will be taken by the great divine king. Bastard, I am not you. Don't think of me as that kind of person. Only despicable fellows like you always think of others badly. Even now, the Sun Moon Emperor did not dare to admit why he did not tell this matter to the great divine king. But seeing that the Sun Moon Emperor was truly afraid of the great divine king in his heart, he did not dare to offend him on the surface. Qin Yun smiled and said, In that case, your Sun Moon Emperor is a person who is inexperienced? It seems that you rarely come out, so you do not know how sinister people are. That is why you fell into my hands. You can't blame me. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not being on guard against me." When the Sun Emperor heard this, he immediately flew into a rage, because he was the one who had said the same thing to Qin Yun. Qin Wen-yun saw the Sun Moon Emperor's angry expression. She could not help but laugh out loud. Too, the Sun Emperor was so angry that his face almost deformed. He could only curse Qin Yun. Other than cursing Qin Yun, there was nothing else he could do. "Do you want me to tell the great divine king now, and let him come here to save you? I can think of a way to contact him." Qin Yun smiled and said, "I really want to know how the great divine king will react when he finds out that his disciple has made a fortune behind his back." "Shut up. What benefits do you want for you to let me go?" The Sun Moon Emperor suddenly panicked and shouted, "There are so many divine universe golden stones in the small space, I can't take that much by myself. Let's split it 30, 70, 370? Who is third and who is seventh?" asked Qin Yun. "I will take 7 and you take 3. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said, "What do you think? I didn't intend to give it to you, and you should know that you were going to be my lackey. I'm pardoning you now." Yun found it funny. The Sun Moon Tribe was already in the capital city, and yet they were still saying such brainless words. "It seems like you are not afraid of the consequences," Qin Yun said with smile. "If you tell my master, what do you think you'll get once he comes here? Didn't you say so? This small space had an owner, and that owner was very strong. Before the master of the pocket space returns, you and I will join hands and take away all the divine universe goldstones. This is what we should do. Moreover, it is also very beneficial to us." The Sun Moon Tribe's emperor was now a little weak, otherwise, he would not have said such words. Qin Yun said, "I don't trust you. Therefore, I will not cooperate with you. Moreover, it is not like I did not get anything. I got 11 billion divine universe goldstones from you and 30 billion that you gave to Yu Xieji. I actually made a profit." Speaking of these two matters, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's anger suddenly flared up and he wished he could tear Qin Yun to pieces. "There are hundreds of billions of divine universe goldstones in the small space. We will split them 50-50. That way, you will get at least 200 billion. As long as you let me out, everything is negotiable," the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said. He was also afraid that the master of the small space would come back. Qin Yun shook her head and said, "Look at these divine universe goldstones, they were collected from different places. I think he must have found them in the depths of the land of death. Do you think you can steal the divine universe metal stones from the vast land of death?" The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor thought carefully and realized that the master of the small space must have a way to track down the divine universe goldstones. If so many divine universe goldstones were stolen, the master of the small space would definitely find the thief at all costs. It is also possible that a large group of living beings came from the Deathland to search for the divine universe goldstones. To be able to obtain so many divine universe goldstones so easily, their strength is definitely not weak, Qin Yun said. "That is why I hope that the great divine lord can come here so that I can watch him die together with you." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was startled and said angrily, "My master has no enmity with you, why do you want to harm him?" Qin Yun said with a sneer, "You will soon know why I want him dead." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor said with a sneer, "It seems that you and Yu Xieji are a pair of dogs. Yu Xieji must have instilled a lot of hatred towards my master in you. I can understand this. After all, my master is very powerful and she is terrified. Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, after you entered the small space, you did not touch the divine universe goldstones. Quickly go and touch them." Qin Yun suddenly laughed. "Maybe there will be a surprise? You sinister old man, don't try to harm me." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor really did not dare to touch the Divine Universe Goldstones. He was afraid that something would suddenly appear and he would die here. Qin Yun did not say anything more. He floated at the entrance of the small space and quietly looked at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor can only continuously scold Qin Yun and occasionally propose to cooperate with Qin Yun. In Qin Yun's eyes, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor is a dead person, a trash with no value. Originally, he wanted to control the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor and help him take care of the Heavenly Court. But now it seems that the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor does not have that kind of ability. For example, the Law Enforcement Realm King and Xian Shazi have a certain level of ability. After being controlled by him, they have great value. And the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor does not have any shining point. Let Qin Yun is at a loss. If he secretly killed the great Divine Lord, then the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor would be a very good puppet. He immediately thought that he could find someone to pretend to be the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. Previously, he made Xiao Yueme pretend to be Yu Xieji, and it was very successful. In the evening, the sky gradually darkened. The small space is still releasing intense golden light. The golden light emitted by the Divine Universe Goldstones is very strong, but it made the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor even more afraid. When night comes, people will always think of something terrible. Night fell and the sky became completely dark. The sky above the Deadland is very clear and bright. Bright stars can be seen in the night sky. When Qin Yun was admiring the stars in the night sky, he suddenly felt some movement. A burst of cold wind suddenly attacked him, and he immediately became alert. "Something is coming," Qin Yun said and immediately disappeared. After Cloud finished speaking, she immediately disappeared. Old Wang, don't go, you damned old bastard, I will kill you." Tai Yin Tribe Emperor did not finish cursing. Suddenly, his body shivered as he felt a burst of cold wind blowing on his back. That a burst of coldness instantly penetrated his body and penetrated his bones. Chapter 2970. After Qin Yun turned invisible, a white figure suddenly appeared behind the Sun Moon Tribe's emperor. It was a humanoid being in white clothes. Her feet were off the ground and her eyes were big and round. From judging from her appearance, she was a beautiful woman with a head of long blue hair and 2 ears like a white cat. The cat-eared lady's skin was very white and she did not look scary on the whole. Instead, she looked very pretty. She looked like a cute little cat demon. Qin Yun could not be sure if she was a cat demon or not because she only looked like one. Following only after that did Qin Yun notice a white tail swaying nimbly behind her. Qin Yun could not sense the aura of the small space, and he did not know the strength of the cat-eared lady. After the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor turned around, his body was still trembling. However, after he circulated his Divine Universe power to offset the coldness, he gradually calmed down. "So it is a little girl. You are the owner of the small space? You don't look very strong. Ha, just in time for me to enjoy." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor laughed sinisterly. "Little girl, come and serve me." The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was sure that the cat-eared lady's Divine Universe power was very weak before he dared to say such words. Although he was curious about why the cat-eared lady suddenly appeared in the small space, he did not care about it. He only knew that the cat-eared lady was not strong. What are you?" The cat-eared lady opened her mouth and her eyes were filled with curiosity and vigilance. There was also a tinge of innocence. When the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor heard the cat-eared lady asking him, "What am I?" he was instantly enraged. His body exploded with anger and his clothes were torn apart. "He is very dangerous and he wants to kill you." Qin Yun suddenly appeared and shouted, "Kill me? What is killing? What is danger? Why are you leaving so quickly?" The cat-eared lady asked again like a curious baby and asked a series of questions. "Not only do I want to kill you, I also want to ck you. I want to torture you, little cat demon. Ha ha. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's face was twisted as he laughed maniacally. Qin Yun immediately took out the divine mirror of Taisher and shone it at the entrance of the small space. He wanted to go in. However, at this moment, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor had already pounced on the cat-eared lady. When the cat-eared lady saw the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor pouncing towards her, she moved her body nimbly and evaded his attack. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor had thought that he would be able to get the cat-eared lady under him. However, he did not expect to get anything. Furious, he turned around and threw a punch at the cat-eared lady. That the divine cosmos force that was filled with ruthlessness let out a beast-like roar. It was bright red, bewitching, and evil as it charged at the cat-eared woman. Cat the eared lady frowned slightly. Her pair of white, jade-like kittens moved a little. Then, she raised her jade-like hand and shot out a ray of white light. Whoosh! With a loud roar, the violent divine universe power of the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor suddenly dissipated and disappeared. Qin Yun was shocked and the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor let out a strange scream. Qin Yun immediately stopped and did not continue opening the barrier crack. The cat-eared woman's strength was simply terrifying. She could easily block at least 2,000 divine cosmic force. Were you trying to destroy me just now? The cat-eared woman asked with a frown. That's right, he wants to destroy you, make you disappear forever, and then seize the divine universe goldstones inside. Qin Yun said. Divine universe goldstones? What is it? The cat-eared woman looked at Qin Yun and smiled. Why do you want to change your appearance? Your original appearance is very good, why do you want to change your appearance? Qin Yun was even more shocked that the cat-eared woman could see through his true appearance. Careful! Qin Yun suddenly shouted. Cat the cat-eared woman's back was facing the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor as she spoke to Qin Yun. At that moment, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor attacked. He once again punched out a strong fist force. At the same time, he gripped a long sword tightly and rushed at the cat-eared woman. Cat the cat-eared woman floated lightly and suddenly appeared behind the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. She frowned and said, Why do you want to destroy me? As the cat-eared woman spoke, her large, watery eyes suddenly flashed and two strange ripples could be seen in the space, rushing towards the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. Ah! The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor immediately hugged his head and screamed. Suddenly, blood flowed out of his 7 orifices and he rolled on the ground. Qin Yun, who was outside the small space, suddenly felt a splitting headache. That this was a very terrifying soul attack. It is mental universe power, very strong, at least 200. Taisher immediately said. Fortunately, it was released through the barrier, otherwise your soul divine universe would have been injured. Qin Yun quickly counteracted the sharp pain from the soul divine universe. The cat-eared woman did not attack Qin Yun on purpose, she just did not notice it. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor lay on the ground and twitched, unable to fight anymore. Qin Yun did not expect that the seemingly harmless cat-eared woman would be so terrifying. Are you okay? I just accidentally affected you, the cat-eared woman said in a self-blaming manner. As she spoke, she suddenly appeared in front of Qin Yun. This shocked Qin Yun. He did not expect that the cat-eared woman could casually pass through such a powerful space wall. I am fine. Qin Yun is somewhat frightened and secretly on guard. This moment, he sized up the cat-eared woman from such a close distance. She looks like she is floating, her feet are off the ground and she is wearing a very simple white animal skin dress. Qin Yun feels that this cat-eared woman has a very familiar feeling, but he is not able to tell what it is. The cat-eared woman slightly tilted her head, her eyes are wide open as she looked at Qin Yun and curiously said, Your true appearance is very good, why did you turn into this? You don't look very good right now. I have no choice, I have to deal with some bad guys. Qin Yun said. This cat-eared woman is very innocent and he is unable to explain. Is that person inside the small space a bad guy? He wants to destroy me. People like him are all bad guys? The cat-eared woman looked at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor inside the small space. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor wailed in grief. In his opinion, Qin Yun is the worst bad guy. This kind of guy is very bad. You must be more careful in the future. Qin Yun is still somewhat dizzy. But he is not a bad guy. Why is he called bad guy? The cat-eared woman slightly frowned and looked at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor. Qin Yun only wants to know how this cat-eared woman came here, and why she does not know anything. He wants to destroy you. What do you call him? Qin Yun asked. The Destroyer. The cat-eared woman said in low voice. I have always been avoiding the Destroyer. But he is clearly not. He is too weak. Who wants to destroy you? Qin Yun hastily asked. The cat-eared woman is so powerful, if she has to avoid him, then she must be very strong. The cat-eared woman pointed at the starry sky and said, From that place. Qin Yun finally realized that the cat-eared woman is not a living being from Divine Desolate, so she does not understand many things. Chapter 2971. Qin Yun looked at the small space and asked again, Are you alone? Do you have any friends or family? The cat-eared woman shook her head. They all have family and friends, but I don't. Because I am a freak. I can be your friend, Qin Yun said with smile. Really? Then can you use your original appearance? I want to see your original appearance with my own eyes. The cat-eared woman said with smile. I don't know how to change back. It was my little sister who turned me into this. I made her turn me into this. Qin Yun said. I can help you change back. The cat-eared woman said with smile. If you agree, I can start now. All right, quickly change me back. Qin Yun said with smile. The cat-eared woman extended her hands and placed them on Qin Yun's face. Suddenly, a faint white light appeared on her jade-like hands. Very soon, Qin Yun felt a warm current wrapping around his body, and then he returned to his original appearance. Inside the small space. In the small space, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor had regained some of his consciousness. He slowly got up and saw Qin Yun standing outside the small space. He heard the cat-eared woman and Qin Yun's conversation just now. Now that he has seen Qin Yun's true appearance, he vomited blood in anger and lied down on the ground again. Yes, he knows Qin Yun. He has seen Qin Yun before. He never expected that the old Wang beside Yu Xieji would be Qin Yun. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor already knew that the Law Enforcement Realm King and Qin Yun have joined hands, but he never expected that Yu Xieji would also join hands with Qin Yun. So beautiful! The cat-eared woman looked at Qin Yun and said with smile. Really? You are also very beautiful, Qin Yun said with smile. Can I touch your face? The cat-eared woman's hands are still on Qin Yun's face. She nodded with smile and said, Of course you can. Qin Yun extended his hand and gently touched the cat-eared woman's face. Although the cat-eared woman is very pure, she did not feel shy when she touched Qin Yun's face or Qin Yun touched her face. On the contrary, she found it very interesting. You are my friend from now on. I finally have a friend, the cat-eared woman very happily said with smile. I'm Qin Yun. What's your name? Qin Yun had previously imagined what the master of the small space would be. He had thought of powerful beasts, other creatures, or even humans. However, he had never thought that she would be such a peculiar woman. I am Maluru. We are friends from now on. You can't despise me for being weak. Maluru stretched out her hand to shake hands with Qin Yun. How could that be? Qin Yun smiled and shook hands with Malur. They don't want to be friends with me because I'm too weak. Malur looked depressed and sighed. Even my fellow disciples, sisters and sisters, they all despise me. Qin Yun was secretly surprised. Where did Mirror come from? She was actually despised as weak. The Sun Moon Tribe Great Emperor felt a stab in his heart. He had actually been beaten half to death by a young lady. Furthermore, this young lady had been despised for being weak. Sometimes they don't really dislike you. They might be envious of you, jealous of you, or for other reasons. Qin Yun patted Maluru-er's head and said with smile, "I will never despise my friends." "Thank you, Brother Yun." Maluru was very happy. She floated in the air and happily shouted, "I have a friend! Maluru finally has a friend." Qin Yun is now sure that Maluru is a very naive girl and relaxed his vigilance. 2. The Yin tribe Great Emperor could only blame himself. If he was not too impulsive, he would have been able to swindle this little girl. "Maluru, can you take me inside to deal with that guy?" Qin Yun pointed at the Sun Moon Tribe Great Emperor and said, "Leave him to me." Maluru pulled Qin Yun's hand and in the blink of an eye, she brought Qin Yun inside. This is the feeling of traveling through space. Qin Yun is secretly surprised. However, Maluru and Little Queen Ant are different. Little Queen Ant can enter the dark space. Qin Yun smiled at the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor and said, "You didn't expect this, right?" Qin Yun knew. Before the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor could finish his sentence, Qin Yun shone the divine mirror of Taisher on his head and imprisoned his soul. Then after that, he took out the soul-lost dew and dripped it into the soul of the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor to erase his consciousness. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor was not completely dead. After all, his soul was still there, so the great divine king would not know that his disciple was finished. The body and soul that Qin Yun had left in the Sun Yin tribe's great emperor were still very useful. The body and soul of the Sun Moon Tribe Arch were kept by Qin Yun, and Malur did not ask anything. To her, this seemed to be quite normal. "Big Brother Yun, this is for you, eat it quickly." Malur picked up a piece of Divine Universe Golden Stone and handed it to Qin Yun. "This, eat?" Qin Yun was startled and looked at Malur. Malur smiled and nodded. "This is the food we rely on for survival, Golden Crispy." "Golden Crispy?" Qin Yun was alarmed. The next scene nearly caused Qin Yun's jaw to drop. Malur kneaded a small piece of Divine Universe Golden Stone in her hand until it became round. It seems that the white light released by her hands could soften the Divine Universe Golden Stone and then knead it into a round bead. Change after it became round, Malur put it in her mouth and began to chew. Her cheeks bulged and she looked very cute. It looked like she was eating something very crispy and fragrant. Qin Yun's eyebrows twitched. This Malur actually made such a hard Divine Universe Golden Stone crisp. "Eat it quickly, I have searched for many years to find it, and it is all here." Malur laughed. "This? I don't eat this." Qin Yun returned the Divine Universe Golden Stone in his hand to Malur. Although there are many Divine Universe Golden Stones here, they all belonged to Malur. She had worked very hard to collect them, so Qin Yun could not take them. "Why? Eating this can make you stronger." Malur frowned in confusion. "It can make me stronger, but I don't need to eat it and I can't eat it." Qin Yun laughed. "Big Brother Yun, then I will share some with you. You are my friend, this Golden Crispy should also be shared with friends." Malur very sincerely laughed. Qin Yun really needed Divine Universe Golden Stone now, but he could not bear to take the Divine Universe Golden Stone that Malur had worked very hard to collect. "How did you collect it?" Qin Yun asked. "How about this, we will work together to collect Golden Crispy in the future. I know there are many places, but I don't know the exact location." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.